Did you download the PowerPoint? Did you that? And I even also shared the PowerPoint on the chatbot. I shared it. I shared everything on the chatbot as well, and it's also on the LMS. So tell us when you came, what did we discuss? If you already know that there's an assignment, it means that you are aware of what we discussed. So just give us a brief, just 1 minute, 2 minute brief of what we discussed.
Yes, sir. I think the just like you started, you asked from the onset what we learned the previous week, and somebody responded by telling us about the components of MIS, and then how they come into play, and then also looked at what public sector organization is and how they function and how they look like. And then we discussed, or we did mention, some of the government of Ghana's flagship programs, which are ICT driven, like the GiveMake, the eSwitch, and others, and how they are impacting public sector organization. So briefly, that is what I want to share.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, all right, thank you for giving us a brief of what we did last time. Yes, anybody else to let us know what we discussed the last time we met? That was our second lecture, right? That was our second lecture.
Yes, please.
Okay, so that was information system design and development in public organization. So we looked at information system design. We looked at the various development life cycle, the system development life cycle. We looked at the requirement analysis and stakeholder engagement. System design, we said there are several types of system methodology that you can use: the traditional way of doing things, and the agile, the traditional or the waterfall, the agile, the hybrid approaches, and then some feasibility studies in public sector information systems, and also case studies of government ICT projects. A number of them were mentioned. We said that we should understand the concepts of information systems in public administration, in public organization, and then the requirement analysis and the rest of them. Anybody else with another summary of what we did the last time we met? Yes, who is here? Moses. Is Moses here?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, Moses, were you in class last time we met?
That's because but I got an emergency at work, so I texted the class rep to let you know. I started, but I got.
Where's the class rep?
Grace.
Frank, right?
No, Grace.
Grace. Grace is your class rep, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is Grace here? Do you have Grace here? Is Grace online? So she's not here. She hasn't told me.
I sent a text.
She didn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
And if she's here, she could confirm, and she's not here either. Okay, Enoch. Enoch, were you in class?
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, were you in class?
Yes, sir. But I'm at the funeral. I'm now driving back home, so let me get home and then join the class.
Hey. Okay, Eric Odro. Is Eric online?
Yes, Doc. Yeah, I'm here. I'm online.
I hope you are not at the funeral.
No, I'm at home. I'm at home.
Okay, so let's hear you. Can you give us a brief? Were you in class the last time we met?
Yes, Doc. I was in class the last time.
Okay, can you give us a brief of what we discussed?
So from what I picked last time about the system development life cycle, then we talk about the methods used to design the system. So my take was on the waterfall model, which is a very rigid system, which is used for small projects that one cycle need to be completed before you move into the next cycle. And we also talk about the agile method, which is more modern, which allow the system to be iterated. You can redesign the system based upon the information available. So that was one of the key areas I really enjoyed and I really understood. Thank you,
Okay.
Doc.
All right. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Yeah, anybody else? Yeah, before you can use information system, that system must be developed. So sometimes you need to either do it in-house or do it whilst you are, or even buy it. You can buy it or you can do it in-house. But our interest here is to be able to do it in-house. Even if you buy it, you may have to tweak it to meet your peculiar circumstance or objective. So that was what we did last time we met. So now that we have developed the MIS, it has to be implemented. So we implement it and we manage it. So the next from our course outline, what's on our course outline? I think it should be good. Do you have a course outline? Can somebody tell us what we are supposed to do for this week? Can somebody give us what is on the course outline for this week? This is also my way of making sure that the others join. Can somebody tell us what we are supposed to do this week? If we have the course outline, and I'm sure you do, or you should have. Hello, am I being heard? Is somebody hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so on our course outline, what is there? What are we supposed to do today, this week?
Implementation of MIS and data management systems.
Implementation of MIS and data management system. That is lecture 3. Implementation of MIS and data management system. So we are going to look at MIS implementation strategies, and then change management in public administration, public organization, data management concepts, then database systems in government institutions, and then there are data quality and data integration, decision support system, and reporting tools. So when we are done, we'll have to look at some practical exercises using database and spreadsheet to do it. So we expect that we should be able to evaluate MIS implementation and strategies and apply data management principles in public organizations. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. I think I've already shared the slide. Can we see the slide? Can we see the shared slide?
Yes, yes, though we can see. Yes, we can see.
All right, very good. Okay, so this is going to be the overview of our lecture today, and implementation of MIS in public organization. It is a strategic process. No matter how good your development is, if you are not able to implement what you have developed well, and that can be aligned with technology, with organizational objectives, with policy, with human resources, and the interest. So we have to align it. We have to implement it by aligning it to make sure that all of these 4 factors are also satisfied. Because government institutions and public institutions are now relying heavily on data-driven systems to improve service delivery, transparency, and accountability. Because these days you can't do anything without relying on data. That is how come most organizations that are using improved MIS are doing so well, and more so for public institutions. Public institutions are primarily designed to deliver service. So whether it's a service for transportation, for hospital, for education, all of these must be done transparently. And there must be accountability also, because the money that is being used by these institutions do not belong to individuals. They are for government, they are for the people. And through taxation, through policy statements, decisions must be made. We are not relying on political expediency to make decisions. We have to make decisions that is based on data. So data-driven system, and data-driven system can only be done when we are using the appropriate MIS tools. So our overview is that we are going to explore the implementation strategies. There are several strategies, just the same as there are several development tools or methodologies. There are also a number of strategies of MIS within the public sector organization. So the lecture will emphasize on change management, which is really critical. And one of the things that we realize in implementation is that most public sector workers or employees are very reluctant to allow the implementation of ICT, IS projects, because they are used to so many. They are using the manual system, manual procedures, paper-based. So when you ask them to now start using information system, one, they may not have the skills, and sometimes you also think that if they are doing something people are not really there to accept certain responsibilities, especially when it comes to transparency and accountability. We'll also be looking at data management principles. So what are data management principles? What's a principle? What is data management? Then we'll have database systems, database management system. We'll go into details. And you need the quality of data. And data must be accessible, it must have integrity, it must be confidential. So there's a CIA triad that we'll be looking at. And if we have good data, we have data management system, then it's going to help us to take decisions. So decision support system, which is database driven. So we're going to provide some practical exposure to database tools, spreadsheet application, which is Excel, that can be used for data analysis and reporting in government institutions. So that is what we are going to do. Our objective at the end of this, we should be able to evaluate the implementation of MIS strategies used in public organizations. We are to be able to analyze the role of change management for successful implementation deployment of MIS, and then explain some of the key data management concepts and governance principles in MIS for public institutions. And there are several database systems used in government institutions, so we have to examine them. We have to find out why government institutions are using several database systems for the same government. Then assess the importance of data quality and integrity in public administration. And then there are decision support system and reporting tools for organizational problems. And we have some practical data management and reporting tasks using spreadsheets and some database tools in the time perimeters. Okay, so I hope that we are able to do this. And I also hope that others have now joined. 19, we are 30 here, and 19 of us are still here after how many minutes? Almost 20 minutes into the start of our lecture. Okay, so those who will come anyway. Those who will not come, you have excuses. All right. So the implementation of MIS in public organization. why is implementation important? Why is it important to implement MIS in public organization? Implementation, deployment, all of these are part of it. Why is implementation important? Bismarck, Kofi.
Doc, please, because
you are
sometimes
at the funeral. I hope you are not at the funeral.
no, please, Doc.
All right.
Just
So
that
why is you are where?
Just that there's quite nice at my background. I moved from my
You should
location
go,
because of
you should go
network
and
issues.
hide. At least you have no idea how I was rushing to come and get in here. I just drove somebody out, maybe not drive, but I just asked somebody to leave my office because I have a lecture. Student came in here with their project work we're going through, and I told them that I have a lecture, so they have to leave. So we all have to prepare for the thing that we are
I've
most
moved as well
important.
because of the network issues. I've moved from my location, but just like where I've come to tap, there are some people doing their
Okay.
duty.
So why is MIS implementation important?
So, Doc, because one thing I've noticed from the country is that sometimes they come up with a good idea, there will be a software, but people will not implement those. So we will not know the good use of that particular thing. So once we implement that it is fully in use, we get to know how best it is going, and we can evaluate to know that either it is helping or it is not helping. But if we don't implement the use of it, we don't now get to know whether we are moving forward or we are fasting.
We are where we are. That's right. That is very, very important. That's a very critical observation. Yeah, we come up with all manner of good projects, good intentions. We can go through all the processes and get it purchased. Then it gets to the point of implementation, then there are issues. So the implementation of MIS process must be structured so that we can deploy the system into an organizational daily operations. So it's a daily thing. What they are used to, they have to find a way. But it must be a structured way of doing it, all right? Because it's important that organization, especially public sector organization, implements MIS to improve efficiency, to improve transparency, accountability, and the quality of service of the particular institution. So public institution, because they handle large volumes of data, resources, citizen services, to be able to have the system running, it has to be implemented. But that implementation must depend on the structured format. The structured format involves planning, resource allocation. Remember, we have already developed the system which is waiting to be implemented. So you have to plan, you have to allocate the resources, you have to do user training. Those who will be using the system must be trained. And then you must also test the system. So all this is to ensure that the technology that we have developed can integrate seamlessly with existing procedures to improve the quality and overall productivity of that particular institution. So the processes are the way to deploy, the way to integrate and operationalize an information system within an organization. That is the essence of all the thing that we do. So MIS implementation process, you have to really ensure that the system delivers the decision support value that can be aligned with the business objective or the organizational objective. So we have to have a goal. There must be an aim, a purpose, an objective. So the objective is, why are we even doing this at all? And that is to deliver decision support value to align with the organizational objective. So there are lots of processes involved. There are people, those who are working there, those who assess the system, and there should be some procedures, some processes, and the type of technology that we are using, the data that is to be collected, and the software that we have developed from last week to be installed. So, but like I said, I think it wasn't the first time or something, the first meeting, I said that many MIS projects that are not successful. So now research is saying that there's a high failure rate between 60 and 70% IS implementation fail. And it's not just in Ghana, it's across board. So it's not an easy thing. But those that are able to succeed very well. But they fail. They fail for so many reasons. Because one, we have to look at the goal. All right. So if we implement it or we install it, would it be able to help the particular organization to deliver decision support value that align with the objective of it? So if it doesn't do it, so when we say failure, there can be several facets that we will want to consider as fail. All right. If the system is working and the people refuse to use it. So it's not about technology. It's not about the process. It's not about the data of the software, but the people themselves are not using it. So that can contribute to the high failure rate. And in Ghana, even today, we are having issues. Some people, my network is not working. So data and internet connectivity are all part of it. It's not just the system development and its implementation that contribute to the failure rate of implementing MIS. A lot issue also come out. So when management is ignored, then we can be able to do it. There are several phases. Remember, we said it should be structured. Structured means that there are phases, there are levels to do it. So the key phases include the planning, you analyze, you design, you have developed, you have tested, you have deployed, and then you maintain. So these are things we did: planning, analyzing the system, you design the system, you develop the system, you test the system, and now we are deploying the system. So when we deploy the system, that's how we're going to implement the MIS, and then we can now maintain it. Any question, any addition, any subtractions? Yes. Grace. Is Grace here?
Yes, Doc, I'm here.
Grace, are you the class rep?
Yes, please.
And you have never contacted me before.
I have.
You have today?
Yes, please. Yes.
Today?
No. Today I didn't.
Okay.
The last time I did, you told me that the other guy has contacted you already, which was last
and I'm
week.
told that somebody gave you an excuse that he couldn't be here, and you haven't told me that also. Did anybody in the class inform you? No,
yes,
last week that he couldn't be, and did he tell me?
No, please.
So how can I take it? We said that being in class is part of our assessment. So now that I did not tell me,
he was in class and then had to go and do something and later joined. That was why I'm sorry.
But you're not the one to assess him, I am. So if he didn't tell me, you should have told me. He didn't tell me, he told you, and you still didn't also tell me. So, or you want to take charge, I will give that assessment to you to do.
No, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. So implementation, are there any questions what we have done so far for the past 20 minutes, almost 30 minutes? Are there any addition, subtraction, clarification needed? All right. So look at the processes. Bloom taxonomy says that if you have any concept that you are teaching, the first point is to get a general understanding of the key issue, the definitions, the explanations. Then we go into more detail. This is a master's project, so we are not going to ask you to define a MIS implementation process or procedures, but you need to let us know as a process of planning, deploying, integrating, and maintaining information system within an organization. Why are we doing this? We are doing this because it helps to support operational and strategic objectives of the organization. So when we're looking at implementation, another terminology is deployment. Then we have to acquire the system, so system acquisition or development, which we have done. So there are two issues. You either acquire, go and buy the system from somebody who's developed it already, or you develop it in-house. And in-house would, if the person has developed it outside, then yes, he may not meet everything. You have to come and look at it and see whether it really meets all the requirements. Then we need to also put up the infrastructure. So there must be an infrastructure setup. Then you migrate data. Data migration is one of the critical issues when it comes to implementing MIS in organizations, and not just public organizations. Because the data that you are using, if you were using manual system, if the organization didn't have any MIS in place, then you might be using manual system. So you'll have paper-based procedures and data. That can, how are you going to convert that into digital platform? So data migration, very critical. The failure or otherwise of implementing MIS is also on data migration. You have to move the data from the old system to the new system. So if the old system were using different data, how do you push it into the new system? And then you need to also train the users, all the users that are going to, all those who are going to use the system must be trained. So training is very important. They integrate the system integration, adding it up or integrating it into the existing system, very critical. And then you have to monitor and evaluate. Monitoring, making sure that everything is fine, and then you evaluate to see if it is going according to schedule, according to the procedures. So in public sector organizations, when you are implementing MIS, then it is supposed to support e-governance. We know what e-governance is. Government to citizen interaction will no longer be physical playing. It will not involve manual procedures and paper-based issues. So everything about government will be done electronically and online. It also would support public financial management, because public issues are, most of the time, that is where all the leakages of finance are. So if you implement it, then you're going to support financial management and accountability. And we can also do it with the health information systems. Many of our health institutions need information systems. So implementing MIS would also support the health implementation system. And of course, educational system. Many education, especially higher education, are for government, and not even just higher education. Government provide majority of the educational systems in the country. So implementing MIS will also support. Then there are human resources. So there are human resource also supporting, the tax administration supporting. So if you look at these 6 areas, public organization, e-government, financial, health, education, human resource, taxation, and many other areas where we will need we need to implement an MIS to support. Now, the strategies are the structured approach, because you can't do it anyhow. You have to adapt a particular way of doing it, to introduce and operationalize an information system within organization. So these are some of them. You can have a direct cutover. So direct cutover where the system is switched off, the old system is switched off. From today, we are not going to use this old system again, and the new one goes live immediately. And the critical example of what this cutover, direct cutover, comes to mind is the paperless ports. If you remember, in 2017, paperless ports, and I was working with them. I was collecting data to do my PhD. So when they were doing it, that was the time I was starting my paper. I had to change everything, and my supervisor said, "Okay, there's a new thing, so go and research on it." So that's why I did my experiential learning during the cutoff. The old system, and those of you who can remember, and these days you can also Google and find out. The old system was There are no hanky-panky. Get the old system off. There's a new way of doing things. Let's go. Because for the system had been developed for a long time, but the political will was not there. And people were pushing the idea away because they are used to the paper base. Paper base was making people get a lot of money. Therefore, you are bringing a system that was to streamline issues and create accountability and take away quote unquote, because I don't have quote unquote, all the alleged corrupt activities that were happening at the port and increase efficiency and effectiveness. So that is the direct cutoff. Yes, it has low cost because you are not running two systems concurrently. You are running the system and take the old one off. But it can also have a high risk because if it doesn't work, you have already destroyed the old one. Maybe not destroyed. You have already stopped using the old system. And if the new system that you have put in place is not working, then you are going to have a problem. So it's best for small and non-critical systems. So if you look at the whole thermoport going straight to it, then you should know that's a very critical aspect. So non-critical system, but is a very critical platform. We can also have parallel running, where both the old and new will be running concurrently. So that if you have all right. Sorry about that. I needed to pick this. So yeah, you can also have parallel running, where both the old and the new systems run simultaneously, concurrently. And this, you can be sure, is safe. It's expensive though, because if you have two systems running at the same time, you need to maintain both of them. And that can be also very, if it's a mission critical environment, like the health services or the mission critical environments, where if the old one is taken away completely and the new one, we are not so sure, then it's important that we do the parallel running of the system. Then you have another one that is more akin to phase rollout. So the system will be deployed module by module, location by location, so that you are not rushing. You have time. Then you control the risk. You have a longer timeline to finish it up. So if you have best for large and complex issues, organizations, then that can also be done. Then you now have the other one that most people are also using, pilot implementation. So you test it in one department or one branch first. You look at, you analyze it, you monitor it, you evaluate it to see that they are working well. And then if any issue comes up, you can get it out before a full rollout comes in. So for organization with diverse units, and like government institutions, yes, if you do a comprehensive implementation and you pick only one government department and implement it there, the others can be using what they are doing. And when you are done and you think that, oh, this is good, that's pilot. So these are the 4 issues. You will be asked to discuss it in details and look at the advantages and the disadvantages. So cutoff, direct cutoff, parallel running, phase rollouts, and pilot implementation. These are the means by which management information system can be implemented within organization. Any question, any addition, subtraction? Abraham. Is Abraham here?
Yeah, Doc, I'm here.
Okay, I hope you are not in a funeral. You have
No,
only 1 month, 1.5 months to run this. So I hope you are not at the funeral.
No, please, I'm home.
Okay, good. Let's hear you. Are there any additions, subtractions,
Okay.
experiences that you want to share?
Well, let me say something for you. At my previous facility, when we were trying to change from, it's an hospital facility. We're trying to change from a new software. The old one was called Oasis. So we're changing from Oasis to a new one. So we can't just totally cut off. So strategically, because it's a health data that we have to retrieve, we have to run it coherently together. So once we're able to import all the information from the Oasis into the new software, then we hold on, though we didn't end the contract immediately, but we hold on small whilst we run. So in case that we need the owners to open the Oasis software for us to retrieve information, then we ask them, they give us a time frame of like 6 months or getting to a year. Then we enroll into the national one that recently was cut off by the LEMS, that was recently cut off by the new government. So this is the small thing I want to talk about, the implementation of the MIS. That's it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So it means that you did the pilot rollout or parallel implementation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, thank you very much. Any other?
Hello, Doc.
Yes, Evans. Yes.
Yeah. So with the whether parallel or complete rollout, hey, is it possible for them to put in place maybe a business continuation process so that in case of any unforeseen hindrances, everybody is clear on what to do and what not to do?
Yes. All these strategies are to ensure business continuity. Because without business continuity, then where are we going? Then the organization will come to a standstill. So the 4 strategies that can be used, and some people can also do it in a way that the business will not suffer. So before you do, for mission critical issues, let's not go straight. Let's do this. Let's do that. So if it is health, if it is something that, if something fails, we are going to have a problem. Then your MIS implementation is to ensure efficiency, effectiveness, accountability, and all the things that we've discussed. All right. So if you do it and it's not able to achieve the objectives, then you should be careful. So before implementation, a lot goes into it. Strategies, planning, the people involved, everything will have to be put in place before we move into implementation. Whilst it is being developed, it is not running. So the organization can continue using its system. But as soon as it gets to the point of deployment or implementation, the organization must be mission critical. At best, they will say, okay, we are not, from today, give us two days to be able to do this. But the issue is, as you said, there's the need for business continuity. Is that okay?
Doc.
Is it okay?
Doc.
Yeah, Abraham, your mic is still on. You want to say something?
Yeah, in little addition, it's not easy. Seriously, when implementing such, it's not easy. The cost involved, especially when you want to run the power or the that one, it's not easy. And it's a contract base. You've already been in a contract with one software company, and the software company has done you nothing. It is in existence. But since there's a government initiative for you to roll into maybe the government new system, you have to find a way to settle the old software managers, which sometimes, if care is not taken, will lead into legal issues. Because if you want to terminate it quickly, then it means they have to withhold the data that they have or they have with you, which you don't want them to. It's quite critical and quite expensive in implement.
Yes, there's nothing so straightforward. There's nothing simple when it comes to information systems. It is mission critical. It's complicated. It's complex. It's not a straight path. It's not a linear progression of issues. So yes, you are right. Some institutions would go through what you have said. If they had a system, if they didn't have any system, that's fine. If they had a system, depending on the what do you call it, the contract that has the terminologies of the contract. So legal people will have to be part of the contract. But when it is a government institution, people come with all manner of excuses. So if you sign a contract, like somebody go and buy A4 paper, which can last for 20 years. So you can imagine, because that is not his money. They order A4 to last the organization for 20 years. Okay. So yes, some people will sign contract that will shortchange the public institution. If it's going to shortchange the public institution, and they might also have their own interest as to why they take such decisions. But if it's a government institution that is really interested in protecting the public purse and all of that, then these issues would come up. And then we sign a contract that when it gets to a point, I developed a system for somebody and for an organization, a very big organization. And most of the time when you develop the system, you want to keep the code. You call it source code. But they said no. This was a private company. They said no. We want the source code. All right, we want the source code. Because without the source code, anytime there's a problem, they need to call me and I'll charge them for it. So they said, okay, so how much would you charge us to give us the source code? All right, so we negotiated and I gave the source code out. So they don't have to come to me. But many organizations, especially for government, they keep the source code. So if the person has kept the source code and you want to push him away, he had the source code. And some of these things can be done remotely. So he can even create problem for you before you realize or before you implement this thing. So that is why there's the need for planning. So you don't just wake up and one morning and say, we have developed our own software, so we don't need you. That one you may hurt the organization. But it's not an easy thing. To ensure business continuity in MIS operations, then there's the ability for the organization to continue critical operation during the implementation. So if the disruption happens, system failure, cyber attacks, power outages, natural disasters, all of these are implementing strategies. So major business continuity in MIS is very important, including system downtime during the implementation. The system can go down. The system upgrade. System may become unavailable and interrupt the organizational operation and service delivery. You might also have data loss. People can also take undue advantage. If the organization finances are also part of the system, okay, whilst we were migrating, just take 10 out of something. And you can imagine, if you have 1 million and somebody removes the zero, it has become 10,000, right? So that 10,000 can be, if you have 1 million becomes 100,000. So just taking 10 out. And if he has a system and it takes 10 out, 1 million becomes 100,000. So how many hundreds of thousands will be going bust? So there will be data loss, there will be corruption, there will be poor migration processes, there can be hardware, software errors, and that can result in total loss or corrupt activities. Of course, cyber threats can also come in. So this is an area that is very fragile. Anytime that you are in charge or you are part of it, make sure that you have a good grasp of what is going to happen. Don't leave things to chance. And because there are vulnerability, people can hack the system. He developed the system. He can throw in a malware, a ransomware, phishing attack, or have unauthorized access, which may disrupt the operations and compromise sensitive information. So there's also the need to do backup. So if you are not using the same vendor, the same software developer, then you start backing up. You back up all the information. You back up every data before you. But if you get a hint, and that hint can also come from in-house. If there's somebody in-house who gives information out, then you know. So yeah, there must be adequate backup recovery plans, because failure to establish reliable backup of the system can cause disaster. So all of this, and also resistance to change. Employees may resist it. A new system due to fear, lack of training, or uncertainties that can affect their smooth operations. So I agree with you, and that is how come we mentioned that over 60 to 70% of MIS implementation fail. All of these are part of it. So if we see an MI that has been implemented successfully, that is just about 4 out of 10 would succeed, or even 3 out of 10 would succeed. Is that okay? Are we okay? Come again? Okay. So yes, you have direct cutover, you have parallel running, you have phase rollouts, and then you can have pilot implementation strategies. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody want to say something? Is he speaking with us? Are you talking to us? Mustafa Adams and James, your mic is on. You want to say something?
Yes, I'm trying to say something.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah, so I don't know, is it ethical the way some or even most of the IT professionals, especially in this part of the world,
I'm not sure if I can hear you. I'm not sure.
It's a challenge for organizations. They see the things we are doing. Like,
Adam, looks like you are breaking. I can hardly hear you. Adams. Mustafa Adam.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, can you get closer to your device so that we can hear you clearly, more clearly?
Okay.
Yes.
Hello, can I be heard?
It is clearer now. Okay, let's hear you. You were too far from your
please,
device.
can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that given the scenario you have given where developers try to sabotage organizations by introducing malware and all those things, source codes and all those issues, is it not very unethical? And how can organizations go around that, or even right from the beginning ensure that some of these safeguards are built into the contracts that we sign with them, so that we can avoid such things along the line?
Yes,
that's my first question.
Okay.
My second question is that I have also observed that I don't know about other jurisdictions, but in our part of the world, in Ghana, most of our ICT project implementations in the public sector are sole sourced. So there are issues of transparency and all that. And I think that may also be part of the problem, which leads to some of these things along the line. So these are the two issues. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, let me take the first issue out. It's not every implementation that you have people sabotaging the system. We are looking at possible reason why MIS implementation may fail, especially in the public sector. Okay, so when it comes to developer sabotaging the implementation, then that is an intentional action by the software developer, or maybe the IT staff, or the vendors, or system administrators. What they do can disrupt or delay or weaken or compromise the successful implementation or the operations of or the use of the system. So there are several forms that developers can use. Remember again, almost 60 to 70% of MIS implementation fail because they can deliberately introduce errors during the development phase, especially if they are not satisfied with what you are doing. So this is intentional. They insert bugs, they can put in faulty codes or hide vulnerability into the system. This can cause failure or instability. They can also withhold critical knowledge. Some developers will refuse to document the system architecture, password configuration, processing on all of these things will delay system delivery. Most of the time, software development is not done by one person, it's a team. So if it's a team and the team is not satisfied, so software developers they are very, if you go outside the country, they are very rich. They have a lot of money because you need to keep them happy so that they will not sabotage your system. So system coding, testing, development, deployments, all these increase the cost and frustrate the implementation. So somebody also can, hold you ransom. The word is blackmail you. All right, he's working with you. He's one of your technicians, and he's working against you. Data manipulation and all of this. So it's a possibility that comes. In our part of the world, you rightly have observed that most of our software are done sole source. Sole sourcing has all its drawbacks. You can make a case that the system needs to be running very quickly. Therefore, to go through the purchasing, processing, and getting all that, people sitting down to evaluate the proposal that has been submitted and voting, and all of these issues will delay. And you want the system to be up and running very quickly. And most of these decisions in public sector are taken or undertaken by governments. If it's by governments, the government in power. And therefore, if they have an interest or whatever that would come, that is what they will want to do. And you can't stop them. Nobody can stop them. Even if you take them to court, you can run out till you get to Supreme Court, and they still will not have any effect. So yes, both observations are very critical and very important. So, but as leaders, when you are confronted or when you are put in charge or you are part of a team that is supposed to implement ICT or MIS projects, and then you also come up with some of the things you are studying here to ensure that at least there's value for money for what we are doing, because it's so expensive. All right, so it's a good observation, and I agree with you. I've observed a number of projects like that, but you can also say that the 60 to 70% is not the result. They are not all a result of these things. Some other issues can come up. Technology can come up. Sometimes if you start doing something today and you're not able to finish on time, by the time you finish, another technology has come that will make what you have done a bit redundant or a bit okay. So you need to upgrade and do all manner of things. So sometimes you are also subscribing. When you are developing, you are subscribing to some other platform to help you to do it. And if those platforms are not available, it means that you're also not going to be able to do it. James, your mic is on. You want to say something?
Yes, I want to ask a question.
Yes, please.
Can an organization choose more than one strategy in its MIS implementation? Like choose either direct cutover or more than one. So either running parallel or and again doing direct cutover and then again doing pilot system instead of choosing either or.
Yes and no at the same time. Yes, because we talked about four. There are four critical issues that we looked at: direct cutover, parallel running, phase out. So when you say you are going to use phase out and you are doing cutover, so you have an organization having functional areas: human resource, finance, marketing, operations, administration. So you have various functional department within the organization. So you pick only one functional department, let's say the human resource, and you do direct cutover. So when it comes to the human resource management system, you are doing direct cutover. So we come to the human resource and say that we are going to implement this system, but the old system you are using, stop using it. So in one breath, for the human resource, it is cutover, but the other functional areas are also using their own type of system, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you can see that direct cutover for one system, now also introducing the phase out. So we are phasing out module by module, putting, when we are done, we are sure. It can also be described as pilot. We are using the human resource functional area as a pilot to the system that has been developed. Then when we are assured, we can now run. So you can put all these three together. We can now run the whole system. So yes, you can do it. The flip side of the no is that if you're going to do it in piecemeal, that was going to be very expensive. Because if you have done all direct cutover and there are problems, you are solving the problem one at a time. Now you do it in one department, human resource department, then you have a problem. Then you solve that problem within the human resource. Then you go to finance. Then you have another problem. You solve the problem for finance. Meanwhile, if you had introduced the system once, the problem that may even be identified at one point could be escalated or could be used to solve all the problems. All right. So that strategy depend on what the organization is doing. But remember, you have planned. So an organization can choose more than one implementation approach, depend on the size of the organization, depend on the complexity, the risk level of resources, and operational requirement of the organization. So if you combine implementation methods, you reduce the risk and improve the system adoption. But then there are issues. So whether you are doing direct takeover, direct changeover, which is the big bang, the old system is completely stopped, and then the new system is, there are advantages, there are disadvantages, right? And then there are high risk. The advantage is that you have faster implementation, lower operational costs, but the disadvantage is that it is high risk. If you are doing parallel implementation, both the old and the new are operating at the same time, its implementation that is safe. It is safe because they are not transitioning immediately. It is easier to verify the output. But it is also expensive as a disadvantage. It is expensive and it is time consuming. So yes, whatever that you do, you have planned, and if you have planned, you have to know ahead of time what best work for you. Implementation of MIS is not it's not the same for every organization, because remember, an organization is like a thumbprint. Every organization is different. There's something in each organization, no matter how they are doing similar things, may be different. And therefore, we require a complete understanding of what the business is doing or what the organization is doing, and align the MIS implementation with the business goal. So what are the business goals? List the business goals down, and then you have a team. It's not one person. You have a team. We brainstorm, we document, we have a plan of action, what we are going to do. These are the various methodologies that can be used to implement. Which one is best suited for us? In one organization, especially if it is a small organization, not critical organization, yes, you can do the cutover. Even if it is old and complicated, and you have the will, the political will, like it happened in the case of the smart port system, the paperless port system in 2017, then you know that we are good to go on whatever it is. But the failure rate for implementation of MIS is between 60 and 70. So you have to have that at the back of your mind. All right. Any other additions, contributions? And last week, you guys were very, very, very active. Prisla, is Prisla here?
Yes, sir. Please, I'm here.
Any question? Okay, Debbie, we have
Actually, I
Debbie
wanted to make a contribution earlier on about the pilot implementation. That I had a similar experience in the office where we're moving from paper to being paperless, and we had to do a pilot.
Where's your office?
The bank hospital.
Okay, all right.
Yes. So we're using the folders and then the laboratory reports, they had copies with X-rays and all that. So we had to migrate from using paper to being paperless. And we did a pilot study and it worked. And then now we are using the hospital information management system to
Awesome.
run the hospital.
Awesome. Great, Priscilla. Great. Thank you so much. Yes, Debbie Q. What does the Q stand for?
Quaid dog.
Yeah, what does the Q stand for? Debbie Q.
Quaid.
Okay,
yeah.
Quaid. Why don't you add the rest of the letters to us? Okay, let's hear you.
I would. Yeah. So Doug, please, I know our course as a scope of dealing with this public these institutions, but then I do have a question about this is a private institution, if you don't mind, if I could.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
So
okay. So Doug, please, I'll like to know your thoughts on the constant scam, or should I say fraudulent these activities with MTN. Do you think it's something that's got to do with their systems, or is it the failure on the part of management? Or can I get your thoughts on that, if you don't mind?
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, in academia, we are a bit cautious, especially if you have not conducted a study into that. Yeah, we all hear accusations of fraud in MTN and all of that, but the reasons that are given, until we have the system to study and ask them questions, yes, we will not be able to conclude. We can also hazard a guess. We can also put in our own experience or our thoughts, but that may not be the facts. So we have to be very careful while you are using it. There are several issues, several fraud that are commonly associated with MTN and the other scam targeting mobile money users, sometimes SIM registration fraud, then one-time password codes and fake promotions that are coming up. So not necessarily the MTN as an institution having problem or having issues with the software, the MIS that they are using, but other people, So in Ghana, mobile fraud has become a major cybersecurity issues. I'm not sure that MTN as an institution that will be if they do anything like that, that is to destroy their brand. And I'm not sure how they can destroy their brand. This is a huge organization. How they will destroy their brand by encouraging fraud. So unless we have evidence to prove otherwise, then we need to be cautious how we put all of them together. If an individual there is doing it, that is not the issue of the company. So there are several mobile money scam calls. You'll be there, somebody will call you, and then fraudsters pretend to be staff of the MTN staff, requesting for PIN code and all the wallet approval confirmation, fake promotions. You'll be there, they'll send you, and then they will ask you to also send it. These days it's even come down a little. It was really of a nuisance. Or you have won some prizes, or there's a cash reward, or there's free data somewhere that you must click into this. That's also SIM fraud, SIM card fraud, and all of that. SIM and fake customer care numbers, So we all have to be disciplined and very aware of what is happening. But it's not MTN that is doing it. Other people are doing it and thinking that they are doing it in the name of the MTN. It's a challenge. Even this mobile money, you go and withdraw mobile money. Somebody is also standing there. As soon as you mention how much you know, it's giving you the number. And if the mobile money person, be careful where you are, especially when you are entering your PIN code. All these people will be spying on you and trying to make you, if you lose the mark, they'll take every money from you. So it's for us to also be careful so that we can take away some of these fraudulent activities not affecting us.
Okay, Doc. Thank you.
Okay? Yeah, thank you very much. Now, okay, all right. So you can go ahead unless somebody has anything else to say. Now, once we are doing implementation, there are factors that are critical to succeed. There are things that you do that can make you fail. But the success rates, the critical factors of the successful implementation of MIS in public administration is the need for top management support. So right from the minister to the director, everybody must support it so that they can sponsor the drive allocation. The sponsor can drive the resource allocation and adoption. If the person needs something and you are not giving, because there's no in many public organizations, you need approval for whatever that you need. So these are the resources that IT people say they need. We need to give it to them. And then there must be user engagement. If you do your implementation without involving those who are going to use it, so right from the time you are developing it, you need to be talking to them, you need to be psyching their minds as to what is involved, what they can do, training them, making sure that the stakeholders are involved in all the requirements and testing analysis so that you can reduce the resistance to change. And there must be clear requirements. There's be no ambiguity as to what specification are we looking at, the scope of so that we can avoid the scope creep. The scope creep, I mentioned that you might have signed a contract that this system must do this, that, and that. And then you start implementing, the people say, oh, we need to do this. You have to go back to the system and now recalibrate, and all that is going to delay. And if you don't take time, if the person has been paid an amount and you are wasting his time, you leave it and go and do something else. Because people's time has also be accounted for. Then there's the need for change management. Change management is very, very critical. So training, communication, looking at the cultural alignments, all of these are non-negotiable. You have to do training. You have to let the people who are going to use it know how to use it, understand why it is important for them to use it, and what benefits would come to them as individuals if they use it, right? So we need to get this thing done, change management policies and procedures and training. We need to also have a project governance. So have a clear definition of rules and milestones and accountability that will come within the system. And then we need realistic timeline. So if you underestimate, that will lead to rush testing and then poor migration. So all of these will be considered during the planning stages of it. So these are the critical factors. If any of these things fail, your success would also be questionable. Because if you don't have clear requirements, if it is not unambiguous, and you don't avoid a scope creep, you may have finished. As a developer, you may have finished. But then the person that is supposed to use it say that you have not finished. So the scope creep, you keep adding and adding and adding. That can affect, even if top management agrees, even if user involvement is considered, if change management is done, project governance framework, rules are clearly defined, milestones and accountability structures are all made available. And one aspect of this, like without clear definition, we can still fail. So this is not picking and choosing. It is all or nothing. You have all of it, or you don't have anything at all of it. It will not go. The last time I said that if you wake up in the morning and you have your toothache, I'm sure you will not even go to the hospital. You not even go to work. You have to go and attend to it. So though it is a very small part of your body that is in trouble, the whole body must be carried to the hospital. Okay? So the same thing, if this is a system, one part of the system is not working or has failed, the whole system fails. And that is what we need to do. There are several strategies that we can pick it up. I explained earlier on, but there's also the direct changeover, or which is called the big bang. It has faster implementation, immediate benefit realization, but if it comes to disadvantages, then there are high risk of failure. If you're going to do direct changeover, which is called a big bang, if it fails, it means that even the old system that you thought it was even inefficient that you are changing, it will also not be available because you have stopped using that. All right. So the implementation of the national payroll system simultaneously was also a cut-off point. The parallel implementation, reducing operational risk, quite expensive, can increase the workload. They're also running manual payroll alongside the electronic payment system. All right. So these are, and phase, I think we've done this already, phase, pilots, and the rest of them. Okay. Any question, any addition, subtraction, any comments? Okay, so these are some of the challenges. There are several challenges apart from the positive. There are several challenges that may come as a result of implementing MIS. So implementing MIS will fail. 60% to 70% of MIS fail. Why? Because of complexity when it comes to system integration. You have a system, data already in the old system. Now you need to migrate that into the new system. That can also be very difficult. That can contribute to the failure rates of the information systems. Then resistance to change from employees. Many people are not, they don't know the system, therefore they don't want to get it done. And some people may also have personal reasons why they don't want it to be implemented, and they can sabotage it. It is expensive. So sometimes the budget to run it, you have planned the thing, okay, this one we're going to spend $2 million to do it. Then people interest come in and they are, okay, the thing is working, and let's add another 1 million, 2 million. By the time you realize the one that started at $1 million is about $10 million. There are also legacy system compatibility issues. The legacy systems are systems that are already running. Now you have to now integrate the new into it. So are they compatible? If they're not compatible, then it can also cause failure to this. So you need to overcome all these challenges, which require proper training, careful scalability planning issues, and then also addressing the human factors. Because the human being, we know that the human being is one of the troublesome components of an information system. Because we come with several complex issues. We come with our belief system, our religion, our culture. Human beings can be hungry, they can be angry, they can be sad, they can be happy. So putting all these things together is a very, really big conundrum for ICT implementation. So to ensure effective implementation of MIS, then you need to rely on clear business goals. If you don't have the business goals, then what are we supposed to achieve? You also need strong executive support. If the government, the minister, the president is not ready to support, because issues will come up. Therefore, we need strong executive support. And then the system that has been designed, it has to have user-centric design. User-centric design, meaning that when people who are going to use it go to the platform, it should be easy for them to understand, to appreciate, and to connect with the new system that has come. We can also have comprehensive training. All right. So yes, you may do all of these things, but if the people are not trained, they don't really understand. And then there must be governance issues as well, robust governance issue. So to be successful, there's the need to align all the technology with organizational needs so that you can foster continuous user adoption. So one, the alignment of technology with organizational needs and the user. So all these three facets must come. They must all be in agreement. The technology, the needs, and the training aspect of it, continuous adoption of it. So that's what system deployment is about. And development and deployment as part of the life cycle. And development, you are looking at designing, the coding, and testing of the system to meet the requirement. When it is deployment or implementation, then we are having to find the critical phase where the testing of the software can release into the live environment for the users to use. So all these are very, very critical and very important. The primary goal is to ensure that the operation is ready, it is seamless for the users, and it can help on uninterrupted business continuity. So, like the question that was asked earlier on business continuity, all the thing we are doing is not to take away the need for business continuity. Because if the business fails, then even the success implementation of the system will not also be effective. So successful process will move from several things. We mentioned planning, testing, execution, and maintenance. And this is what we are looking for. Any question, any addition, subtraction? Charles, I said when you come to my class, you can speak. Oh, Debbie, you have still not changed your name, Debbie Quay. Yeah, Charles, let's hear you. Any question?
I just have a little addition. I think when there was my company was trying to move from paperless to an IT-centered way of operation. So the developers have been in the office for the past 4 months, and they were taking information. And I think last week we started doing the piloting. So it's like we're running a parallel system. We're doing the paperwork, and we're also testing the system to identify the problems that will be associated with the way our company operates. And then they have been with us, giving us directives. Whenever we had a problem, we call them to come and find out. And then they give us the corrections, then we move forward. And by next week, it has been said that we are going to cut off the old system, and then we are moving straight directly into the IT system. So I think if these IT developers were not with us throughout the process and were giving us directions as to how to handle the system before they start the rollout, I'm not sure it would have been effective. So for the MIS system to operate very well, as you've said, the users must be educated very well, because most of the systems are there, but those who are supposed to benefit from it don't know how to utilize them or how to access them. That has been one of the major challenges that we face here in Ghana.
Yeah, rightly so. They have done everything but don't want to train. So rightly so, you are very right on this observation. So I think we've discussed this already. Data readiness, clear objective, change management. All this has been discussed already. All right. Okay. So now we move to data concepts. Now we've looked at all the reasons why it is important to do a system. After developing the system, then you have to deploy or implement the system. We've looked at the critical factors that are required for system implementation to be successful, including the top management interests and buy-in and support, migrating from legacy system, and training, resource allocation. All of these would have to be put into place. Okay, then we go to data management. Now that we assume that we have implemented a system, and the system needs human being. We need blood to be able to survive. MIS needs data to be able to survive. So just like a human being would ensure that you have good blood running through your system, database will also have to have data. MIS will also have to have data. The data must be managed. So there are several ways that you have to manage the data. So data management will become a systematic administration, storage, and protection of the data throughout its life cycle. So as soon as data gets into the system, it goes through a life cycle process, procedures, before it gets out to solve a particular problem. So when you have database management, they are looking at technologies that guarantee data accuracy, data security, and data accessibility. So the data must be accurate. The data must have security measures, and the data must be accessible. If you cannot access the data, then you cannot use it. So this will be done to enable organizations have informed decisions so that they can make they need that data to make informed decisions and maintain compliance of the system. So to have it, we need a data management system. All right, so data management, database management system to help store, to help retrieve, and also manage the data in the database. So every system will have a database. A database is like a receptacle and a container that the system have to keep the data in there. So it's a very crucial part of the application, especially the end users, the physical data that ensure data is organized, data is secured, and data is accessible. Now, database is management. So the word management has 4 pillars. If you are managing, then you have to plan. After planning, you have to organize. After organize, you have to, what are the other one? Organize, you have to monitor. And then you have to maintain that relationship that has. So all of these, and then lead it, yes, and then leading. So plan, organize, monitor, and then lead. So that is what the database management is about. It's an electronic platform that are used to handle data in an MIS system. So it provides a controlled, it is important because it provides a controlled environment that handles the data. Remember, it's data integrity. So it has several advantages. Some of the key advantages include data integrity. Data integrity means that when you tell me that this is your name cannot change tomorrow. You give me your date of birth, you cannot come and tell me the date of birth is changed. So you ensure accuracy, you ensure consistency, and then you can rely on the information that this data is giving you. So data must have integrity. Then there must be security as well. So implement access control and authentication. So we need passwords, we need authorized users. You need some people to be able to input the data, but not to change the data. You have other people. So users of the system has various levels of authorization in order to be able to use the data security in the system. Then there's data concurrency. So you can allow multiple people to use the data at the same time, and then you can update simultaneously without any conflict. So when you look at MTN, data concurrency, if all of us are, or if many people are accessing the system should not jam. All right. So multiple users can access the system when it is a database. And then we should be able to reduce redundancy. So have a centralized control to prevent duplication of data across the system. So if you look at Ghana as a system, which it is, involving just about 40 million people, and we have these disparate database systems. The NIE has its database system, the Ghana Health Insurance has its database system, the Electoral Commission has its own database system. So we are not duplicating. If there's a word like quadruplicating, that is fine. More than 5 or 6 different database sources, keeping the same information about the one Ghanaian. So for me, you have your data at the Electoral Commission, the same data at NIA, you have NHIS, you have passport office, you have driver's license office, you have the universities. So just imagine, because it is so expensive, very, very expensive to run a system that is not centralized, that doesn't have a control, that doesn't prevent duplication of data across the system. And that is one of the critical things that many of us are worried about. We've written, we've explained, we've argued, but who bails the cat? Nobody listens. Okay. So we've looked at the what was that we looked at? Yes, implementation strategies. We've looked at challenges of MIS implementation. We've looked at success factors that help effective implementation of MIS. We looked at the deployment and development factors that ensure successful implementation. And we looked at data management concepts. Data must be accurate, it must be secured, and it must be accessible. It's accessible. This accessibility is for those who are authorized to use the system. Database management system is very important because it provides that control environment to help handle data. It has a number of advantages. Okay. All right. Any other distinction? When is our break? When's the break?
4 o'clock.
4. Okay, so we still have another 30 minutes to go. Okay. So now we are going into change management. We mentioned from the objective of this study, no matter what you do with the system, if development, the intention, and everything that is managed, that is done to be successful means that you have to allow change management. So what are change management in public organization? What does the meaning of change management? What is change management? What is change management? Yes. Yes, Eric, your mic is on.
Yeah, I think my understanding is the reorientation of staff to accept the new policies or the new procedures that are going to replace the old ones or the older ones. Thank you.
Okay. Any other? Deborah. Deborah is the Debbie. Oh, okay. All right. Bismarck here, Grace, Isaac. Is Isaac here?
Yes, Doc. Bismarck is here.
Yeah, Bismarck is here. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So change management.
Yes, Isaac is here.
Okay, Isaac, change management. What is it about? What is change management?
I believe change management finding a way to effectively, efficiently transition and transfer, organization, whether it's employees or basically employees from one portfolio to the other. Finally, to that there are no leakages, there are no challenges that would disrupt flow of work. So that's what I believe change management is.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Is that Eric? Or that Eric? Or Isaac? Hello?
Isaac. Yeah. That was Isaac.
Yeah. This Isaac. Okay. Okay.
Isaac,
so Eric.
Yes.
Okay. Eric Odru.
Hello, Doc. Yes, Eric Odru.
Yeah.
Yes. So change management is a strategy adopted by senior executives to try to let staff improve upon their way of work by trying to bring out new ideas and innovative ways of doing things to improve upon productivity and efficiency. So it's basically like an ongoing process in some organizations. So having a change management team, trying to look at the system, trying to come up with new ideas so that efficiency is improved along the line.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Okay. Thank you very much. So yes, in public organization, this must be structured. So it's a structured process that preparing, supporting, and guiding employees and stakeholders, and system integration, institutional processes for the organizational change. So if it's a public organization, there'll be government will change after each 4 years or 5 years. A government changes, and if a government changes, the party in power will want to put in place different, maybe replace some people, politically exposed people from the system and replace them with their own people. So as soon as you do that, then there's a need for a structured process. So organization will be experiencing change due to government policies, due to technology changes that has come, technological advancements, and maybe there's some administrative reforms, economic condition may have changed, citizens may be demanding something else. So there are several reasons why there will be the need to have change management policies in the organization. And that will include improvement of the organizational performance. And you may want to enhance public service delivery. You want to support the adoption of technology, and then also reduce resistance. Remember, resistance to change. This will be done so that we can ensure smooth transition from the old system to the new system or procedures. So we can also increase employee acceptance and participation if they are part of the change process. So there are several types of changes that may come in. Technological change, like I mentioned before, structural change of the organization, and then policy regulatory change. It can even be cultural changes and processing changes. So change management is a structured approach used to transition individuals, to transition teams and the organization from its current state to the desired state. The desired state is using implementing the software or the MIS. So public organization will need change management because people resist change. There are bureaucratic structures. They are used to a particular way of doing things. Some of them also will resist because they are afraid that they may lose their job. And of course, in this part of the world, you cannot take away political interference. When a new party comes to power, they have about how many people is the president able to required to replace? How many? Do you have an idea how many people a new government can replace? Several, over 1,000. If you do a little research, you know the power of the president. They're changing almost everybody from at the regional level as well. So all ministers will be changed, all district chief executive will be changed, all metropolitan executive will be changed. So while they are changing these heads of institutions, all institutional heads will also be changed. The police, the head of the police will be changed, the head of the military will be changed. Everybody is changed. And when they are changed, they also change those below them. They also come with their own people. So there's bureaucratic structures. People are losing their job, political interference. Many also lack ICT skills. So if you are going to implement ICT policies, then they're also looking at the skills. You need to train them. And there are organizational culture. Every organization has a culture of doing it. So change management is a very critical aspect of to ensure success or otherwise of an MIS. And there are several models that are used to do the change management because we said it should be structured. It should be a structured approach. And there are various models that can be done. We have the Lewin's change management model. The Lewin's change management model. And that's the first point is that you unfreeze all the things that they are doing. So unfreezing means that you're preparing your employees for the change by creating awareness. So you make sure that, look, we are going to do some changing. That is what the model is saying. So unfreeze, then you transition, and then you refreeze. So unfreeze, preparing the minds of the employees. Then transition means that you are now introducing the new system, the processes or the behavior and then you refreeze. After you have implemented it, now you refreeze and tell them that, look, now moving forward, this is what we are going to do. So unfreezing means that taking the old system off, bringing the new system, and then ensuring that there is the stability for the new system. That is the first point. That is the Lewin's change management model. There's another model called the Cortex 8 steps. There are 8 steps. So first, you have to create the agency of the situation. You have to form a guiding coalition. You have to develop a vision together with them. You have to communicate the vision, empower the employees, and generate quick wins. You have to consolidate the gain and anchor the change for the culture. So if you do that, then this is also what he's also saying. To be able to manage change, he says that go through these 8 processes, 8 steps to be able to do it. And that is what all of this are having about. I think this should have been at we have done data management concept already, should have been there. Okay. I pause again and I ask questions. Any question? Any addition? I think somebody put structured form of succession planning organization. Okay, Abraham. What were you defining? Abraham, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So you pose a certain question that, and that's what I tried to answer. We're talking about what. Yeah, and that's what I tried to.
Anytime you are answering a question, you need what we call a topic statement. You need a topic sentence, so that if tomorrow somebody is coming to read, he knows what you are talking about. Otherwise, what is happening here is that it is hanging.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, so I always have a topic sentence. A topic sentence. Yeah,
that's
topic
fine.
sentence. All right.
That's fair.
Okay, I think we've done data management concept already. Okay. So once you are teaching, you are collecting data, you are storing data, you are organizing the data, maintaining the data, retrieving the data. And there are several frameworks that can also be used. There are 11 areas, including quality by the DEMA DM book. So data has a life cycle of data: create the data, store the data, use the data, archive the data, and then finally, if you don't need the data, you will have to retrieve it. So data is an organized set that must be treated with ownership. So every data has an ownership and its accountability. And then we have also the CRUD operations. So create, read, update, delete. All these are also very important part of it for data interaction, for all the data interaction. Okay, I think this is but how? What are the components? You collect the data, you store the data, you process the data, you give data security, you have data governance, and then you can share the data. So all these are important part of it. It is important for data management in organizations, especially public organizations, because if you have good data management principles and policies, it will enhance decision making, it will improve transparency, it will support accountability and facilitate policy formulation. All of this will enable government to take evidence-based or data-based decisions. How do you do that? There are several types online transaction processes. So you need to be able to handle the day-to-day operations online, and that is creating data. There's also the online analytical processing, which will optimize the complexities of the query system and reporting. So read heavy, the BI dashboards and all of that. There's data warehouse as well. So that can be a centralized repository that integrates data from multiple sources, just like we mentioned with the database management system. Can also have various subsets of warehouse and that focus on specific business units, whether it's finance or human resource, administration, procedures, all of that must be there. And our pipelines also extracting the transformation load pipeline, which is also to feed warehouses with operational systems. So there are various anomalization to reduce redundancy. And these are the terminologies. First order normalization, second order, third order. All of these are important in our database structure, IMS. Okay. Data quality is important because the dimension of data quality is that it has to be accurate. I think we've mentioned that. The data has to be complete. You cannot have data that is not complete. Data, if we require your information, we need everything about you. So the completeness of data must be consistent. If you give your name today, your name cannot change tomorrow. Data must be timely. Timeliness of data means that if we need the data today, it is today that we need it. If you bring the data tomorrow, we don't need it. If we need the data today and you brought the data yesterday, we may not still need it because the system may not have captured it. Data must have validity, and then every data must be unique. So if we have these things in the system, then we are good to go, and then we are getting out of the failure rates, the 60 to 70% failure rates. But if there are poor quality data, organization can lose big time. And look at the amount of research, almost 12 point something million per year, because the quality of data, just on the data, cannot be guaranteed. So the average cost of this is being that there's a need for also data cleansing. So you need to identify and correct the corruption in the data. If there are any inaccuracies in the data, if there are any irrelevant records in the data, you have to take it off. So profiling the data for statistical analysis is very important for us to understand its structure. If there are any anomalies there in there, we can be able to do it. That will give us a master data management as an authoritative source. So every organization must have a critical business entity that are authoritative. When you mention that this is coming from here, nobody would have any issue with it. So establish data stewardship, give roles to individuals who are responsible for the main domain of the data quality that comes up. That is governance. So data governance. We need a framework of policies or procedures to ensure that the data is managed as a strategic asset. So data, just like money, just like buildings, just like human resources, data is also a strategic asset. Why is data such an important part of an organization? Why is data a strategic asset? Why is data a strategic asset? Yes, go ahead.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think because it forms a critical basis on which an organization takes decisions.
Yes, data is considered a strategic asset because it supports decision making. Without data, no organization can make decisions. So it supports decision making, it improves organizational performance, creates competitive advantage. It also helps to enable effective planning and innovation. So wherever you have finance, imagine you go and put your money in the bank and you are not sure. So we have data on the amount that has been sent. So financial, human, physical resources. Data is very significant. It has a significant value when it is properly collected, when it is properly managed, and when it is properly analyzed and protected. So there are several reasons why data is a strategic asset, one of the strategic assets of an organization. First is to support decision making, using data to make informed decisions, evidence-based, rather than relying on assumptions and intuitions. And sometimes, okay, the guy had a dream, so he's here. It also improves planning and forecasting, because now you have historical real-time data that can help organizations to predict the trends and allocate resources for planning future activities that can be done effectively. If we have good data, it also helps enhance operational efficiency. So identifying any inefficiency, reducing waste, automating the processes are all part of it. So data is important. And that is the need to even have the data alone being governed. So data governance, key policies, and data standards, data ownership, and data access control, and then there'll be audit trail as well. So it is important for organizations to effectively use data to respond faster to market changes, understand customer needs, and innovate more effectively than the competitors. So if you don't have data, you will not be able to. So like the country that we have, if we have data, we are not going to import onions and tomatoes from Saharan regions. Because if you know what is the quantity of tomatoes or onion that is used every year, how many farms do we have that is producing? So we have all these data accurately mapped. And so when we are taking decisions, we are taking decisions based on the data. All right. And I wonder if we keep those data. So yes, we are supporting innovation. So if you have data, you need to catalog the data. You need to have an inventory of all the data sets that are used. So metadata is data on the data. Metadata is the data of the data. Whether there are any linkages, lineages, ownership, all of these are very, very, very important. So we have compliance consideration as well. Data must have must be compliant when you are collecting data. If you look at the Ghana, we have the Data Protection Act, right? We have the Data Protection Act, right?
Yes, Doc.
Yeah, so the data protection. I mean that the data that you're collecting must be protected. When we go out there, we have also the GDPR, the HIPP. The GDPR is an European concept of data protection, and then HIPAA also from the US, and the POPIA, POIPIA. All of these are data protection compliance consideration that is available across the world. These are major data protection and privacy regulating issues used in different parts of the world to protect personal data, personal information, and ensure responsible use or responsible management of data. The GDPR is a General Data Protection Regulation, and that is an European Union, European Union data protection law, if you like, or policy, which is to protect individual data and privacy of individuals in the EU. And even if you are not in the EU and you have anything at all to do with individuals in the EU, you are also covered. So individuals have greater control on their own data. So before you collect somebody's data, you need to require consent before collecting the data. You need to give individuals the right to access their data, collect their data, and even ask their data to be deleted from the system. You need to ask organizations to report any data breaches that they come up. And this applies to every organization worldwide that has EU citizens' data. And then the right to access, the right to rectify the data. I gave you something today. This was my phone number. I have changed the phone number. So I have a power to rectify the data. I was living at Dansuma. I have moved to Kanishi or something. So, and then there's the right to erasure. I have the right to be forgotten. So you have my data. I don't want to have my data. I have MTN card. Before I bought the chip, MTN collected data for me. I'm no longer using MTN. I should be able to tell MTN that delete my details from there. If organizations don't do that, they can face heavy penalties for non-compliance. There are several types of it. So they are protecting the name, the email, the IP address, the health records of all of that. Then we come to the HIPAA, that's the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This is a US-based law, which is also to protect sensitive data of patients on health information. to improve confidentiality and all of that. And then we have the Protection of Personal Information Act, and this is also South Africa. In Ghana, we have the Data Protection Act, and that requires lawful processing of personal data, encouraging and transparency and accountability, and giving the individual rights over their own personal data, so that organization can secure information properly. So you need need to follow these laws. Without enforcement, documentation, they need to have red teeth to bite. Then we are going nowhere. So yes, data linkage is important. It's helped to track the origin to destination of data that has been. So there's traceability and there's trust in the data that we are using. I think this is okay for this group. All right, let's give ourselves a break and then come back and continue. Right? Okay. Hello.
Yes, Doc. Yes,
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 sir.
Doc.
Okay,
Well
Doc.
noted.
Thank you, Doc.
See, we pause for the next 30 minutes and come back. Mind this are for those people, they can even change their sex. Today they are female, tomorrow they say no, I don't want to be a female again. I want to be a male, and vice versa. Somebody always say, I don't even want to be I don't want anybody to know whether I'm a male or a female. They have some funny way, but all of this is to ensure that without enforcement of documentation, there's a need to have a bite, to have real accountability mechanism that is required for this. So tracking data from the origin to its destination, its traceability and trust are all part of it. Data must be integrated, and there must also be interoperability of the data. And so there are several platforms that can help us to do the data integration and data interoperability. You see, data is interoperable. It means that various systems can use the same data without having to collect the data again. So you have like my concern about the disparities in the various platform that we keep our data. So if we have that interoperability, like ERP, which is the Enterprise Resource Planning System, we can integrate. So if it is National Health Insurance that has taken the data and Electoral Commission wants the data, we have to be able to put them together so that they can be interoperability. They can have interoperability, they can have integration, and ensure that their core business processes, their finances, HR, all of these are in one system. There's also the need to appreciate the application programming interfaces, where real-time data exchange between various systems can be enabled. And then there are middleware also, where different systems can have enterprise bus that acts as brokers between the disparate systems. So we have no business thinking that we should have NIA data differently, NHIS data differently, our what do you call it? Our driver's and license differently, passport differently. All these are creating so much money going down the drain. So data integration, pattern, point to point, hub and spoke, publish to subscribe, all that are important. And there are legacy systems too, old systems that have been around for so long. Some of them are costly, some of them are very expensive and complex, and they create integration and implementation issues for MIS, because they have used the system for so long. You come and tell them that stop using that type of system because it's inefficient, or we have an improved version of it. These are legacy systems that create challenges in the implementation of management information system. And information data must also be assessed. There must be security on the data. So long as you've given your data out, you will expect. Yes.
If you can go to the previous slide, I want a clarification or something. Yeah, it says the point that says ERP systems, SAP, Oracle, integrate core business process finance, HR, supply chain into one system. If you can clarify on that one, how can you put them all into one system?
Yes. So you have ERP. ERP is enterprise resource planning. It's a system that can integrate all the core functions within the organization. Everybody. So whether the person is in the HR department, finance department, accounting, there are several business processes, supply chain. We can put all of them together. So there are several type of ERP, which is enterprise resource planning. They include the SAP and Oracle. SAP and Oracle they are types of systems. They are also type of ERP that can integrate all the core business functions within the organization. Because organizations are made up of various functional areas. And if you have the HR, the requirement of HR is different from the requirement of finance. It's different from the requirement of marketing. But you can have one system that integrates all the business processes into one. So you have various sections when you go. If you go to the website of the university, that you can click various links and it takes you to the site. That's exactly what we are trying to do. So if you have a system that shows the front end, you can see HR. You click HR, then the HR, it will take you to where HR data is. And then you click finance, it take you to finance because they have different data that are used to help them achieve their objective. But of course, because it is in one system, you don't need to have different disparate systems around. Just that one ERP can help to achieve your objective of running an enterprise system. Right? Is it okay?
So, Doc, if I can get you clear, so it means that you have one administrator for HR, finance, and other things. That will be managing the.
You have one administrator. You have.
What about? What about if it's a large company that have let's say you have the finance department, HR department, you have to combine all of these and then set up one administrator.
Exactly, that's what we are saying. It is centralized. So it is one administrator. Maybe the IT department, the head of IT department will be in charge. It is one administrator who is in charge. It's the same way that we have national health insurance, we have passport office, we have DVLA, we have, and all of them have different administrators. But we MIS is advocating that instead of having all these disparate systems, have only one system and then run it. So of course he may not have all the authority. He will not have all there are different levels of accessing the information. Some information, and if you are not within DVLA, for example, if DVLA go to that site and click on that site and provide the information for DVLA. If you go to a website, it is not only one aspect that is there. If you go to website, go to the university website and see. You have a place called faculties. You can click. When you go to the faculties, you click a particular faculty of information system, faculty. And when you click on faculty of information system, it takes you to the information system. But all that is being handled by one lead. Of course, he has a team to support him. But that is the essence. That is the whole essence is to have one system that all of them can, in fact, they call it plug in. So you plug in your system and then we are good to go. So there are various very specialized software. This is the enterprise resource planning software for businesses and other things. So you have SAP, which stands for Systems, Applications, and Products. So systems, applications, and products. When it comes to software, we come to data processing. So the purpose is to be able to integrate different organizational functions no matter how big it is, different organizational functional areas into a single centralized system to improve efficiency, to improve data management, to improve communication, and also to improve communication. So that is one. So there are several. You can have financial management that will be handling accounting, budgets, payroll system, auditing. All of this is one within the SAP. And then you can have human resource, another part, another functional area that will take care of employee records, recruitment, attendance, payroll, performance evaluation. That is the interest of the human resource. Then you can have a supply chain management that can support procurement, inventory management, logistics, distribution of the company's products in the same system. You can have customer relationship management also in the same system. That's interested in customer interactions, sales and marketing activity. If the company is producing, you can have production and operation management for manufacturing, scheduling, and all of that. So yes, they are all in the system, the same system carrying everything and all the things that, and it is very, very feasible, very, very easy. All right. Oracle also has a similar, yeah, Jennifer.
Doc.
Hello,
Yeah.
Doc. Please,
yeah,
with regard to, hello, Doc.
Yeah, go ahead, Jennifer.
Hello. Okay. So with regards to these systems you are mentioning, though they are there being used, some institutions are actually using them, but they still need human beings or people to be there to operate them. Instead of just one person, realize that at a point in time, it should be more than one person. Because if, for instance, with my organization that I work with, the system that we use, let's say I do the input and then my manager at the other end also does an authorization for a customer. So with this point, I realize though there you are saying there is a need for one person, to do the work and the system will help. But then at a certain point in certain institutions, we realize that though the system is there, it's really working, but it is more than one person doing one thing at a point in time.
I agree with you. Maybe when I say one person, I'm not talking about an individual. There's a team of people who are working, right? But the authorizations. So now you are inputting the data. Somebody is authorizing the data. The data can be utilized or something. So it's a team. But it is not like what we are doing disparately. Otherwise, you have every functional area taking a different software. That is the idea. Because even if you have 7 functional areas within the organization, there's somebody who is inputting the data. Somebody must be accepting the data. Maybe the human resource director will accept it. You might
Hello,
have,
Doc.
yes.
Yeah, so I think with that, with the system, for example, just to batter the point Jennifer just made, with the company I work with, first, I used to stay up to 12 o'clock a.m. Sales has to close before I close because I need to release orders from suspend. But now the system is automated in such a way that once the orders are raised, the credit checks, the system done the credit checks. Once the account is good, it automatically releases itself. So there are a lot of automations in the system that will help with the MIS to reduce the human interaction as well. And with the ERP, for instance, as you were saying, we have a lot of models in the ERP. So when you come to finance, for instance, we have AR, AP, budget, a lot of things. So within the AR also, when you open it, you have a lot of models. So the ERP is like a one-stop shop where everything is there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So yes, when we say one person, look, a lot of the work that is being done, when it is automated, that's it. It is automated. Nothing else should worry anybody. Automation makes a lot, and this ERP is helping to make the automation very possible. All right. So without it, even inputting the data, how many people are are going to be used to input the data. But even if you have one person, a lot of data can be inputted. Some of the data can be from different departments, can all go into the system at the same time, right? But you need different levels of authorization, depending on what they are doing. If it's in the banking sector, somebody has come to withdraw. If the person is making the what do you call it? If the person is making the withdrawal online, who is the human being there? There are no human being there. The system is taking care of it. There are no human being to interface. But he's able to midnight. I can ask my bank to transfer this amount to this other bank or to send it to my Momo. I can also send money on my Momo to my bank without anybody being there. And that is made possible because of the interoperability, the integration, and the system, the ERP that is being used. Yes, Mustafa.
So thank you very much for the opportunity. I just want to ask a question that is been on my mind for quite a long time. Is it not possible as Africans, and in particular Ghanaians, for us to be able to build, whether from the private sector or wherever, to be able to build some of these systems by ourselves? Because these systems that we are using, people have access to our corporate data, country data, and all that. And I think in terms of sovereignty, I see a challenge there. But is it not possible, I mean, going forward, for us to be able to build some of these systems by ourselves and use them, whether it's in the private sector or by government? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. It is very possible. It is extremely possible. But again, you need decisions to be made, decision makers. So it is possible for African countries, including Ghana, to design and build their indigenous MIs. We can design and build our own ERPs and databases and enterprise software, similar to the one that are being provided by SAP and Oracle. Many universities, many startup and government agencies and software companies in Ghana are ready can develop local enterprises for payroll management, student information system, hospital management system, banking, and some of them are doing it. Just that the scale at which this is being done, like many of the things that we should be doing. So we are independent, but we are really not independent. We are always still dependent on them. So we do all of this and still not be able to. Sometimes we are also getting this white here. Sometimes we are getting loans from them to do it. So when we are getting loan from them to do it, the loan is coming with conditions. The software you want to develop, we will provide you with you have to buy it from us. So we buy the thing from them, and so we are not doing politics, we are not doing governance. So let's keep it in place. But if you ask me whether we can do it, yes, we can do it. Taxation, e-government services, because we have the availability of skills and professionals. This school alone, this school, if you look at the number of projects that are being developed by these students, you'll be surprised. You have projects here that can be escalated, not escalated. What's the word? I just forgot the word.
Scaled up.
It can be scaled up. You can scale them up and make it bigger. Something can be done, but who bails the cat? That's our only worry. We don't trust ourselves. We don't patronize ourselves. If you have two restaurants side by side, a Ghanaian restaurant, maybe a Chinese restaurant, or a Ghanaian restaurant, an Indian restaurant, or side by side, you see Ghanaians going to the foreign restaurant more. No matter how big it is. When there's when your child wants birthday to go out, you take your child to a local restaurant, and you will see he wants to go to Chinese restaurant. He wants to go to anything other than Ghanaian. We seem to patronize so much everything. Look, for Africa, we are not doing religion. Everything, so long as we have taken our religion out, everything else is gone. We don't appreciate anything about ourselves. So that is why this is happening. So, well, we are for readiness, we are. And it is imperative, it's important that we do it. So there's growth of ICT education in Ghana. And this school is one of them. Technical institutions now offer programs in information systems, computer science, software engineering, artificial intelligence, data science, cloud computing. So everything in between we can do. But even if we do, somebody is not ready to do and we also like the cutting corners too much. Our standards are somehow very not too much to recommend. So that all those things we need to work on ourselves. Yes, Matthew.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. So I have a simple question. Sir, so why is it the case that having to move from an arcade system, that is a legacy system, to a purported upgraded or a better system? Why is it a challenge to moving data or information from an archaic system to a purported better system? That's my question.
Okay, all right. There are several reasons why it is difficult? Did you say difficult?
Yes, sir. Difficult and a challenge, costs and all the negatives around it.
So difficult to move from legacy system, from the legacy system that is available, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are a number of reasons. Data is part of it. So that moving from or replacing legacy system, because legacy systems are deeply integrated into the organizational operations. They have been using that system for so many years. All right. So the people have become very used to it. There are data structures. If somebody is using Word, somebody is using Excel, somebody is using PowerPoint. They are all data, but the structures are different. So many organizations continue to use their old system because they are critical to the daily operations, even though they may be outdated. Remember, change is difficult. Changing every time, every point is difficult. If you are in your mother's stomach and you are coming, see the difficulty that comes about because you are changing an environment. So you see what happens when our mothers and our wives are going to give birth. They go through a lot because the child must leave that environment and come to a different environment. Then that's a lot of work. So legacy systems are old. They are old information system. They are old software, old hardware applications that are still used in spite of the fact that they are normal, or maybe there are newer versions of it. Now we had hitherto there was servers. Servers were in organizations. Servers were like the central point where everything is being kept and everybody in the organization can access. Now people have moved into the cloud. Now, if you want to go to the cloud system, very good, very efficient, very easy to use and all of that, and less expensive compared to the legacy system of servers. Now, the data on the server must now be migrated to the data on the cloud. If the cloud has a different set of different data sets and data structures, then you have to find a way to bridge the old system and the new system, and that can also create a challenge. And the cost of migrating is expensive. Replacing legacy system requires major investment. You may need new hardware, you may need new software, you may need to integrate, you may need staff training. The staff, and then the system must be tested. So people are afraid that they can lose their data because large amount of data, large amount of historical data may be lost, may be corrupted, or may be improperly transferred during the migration. So because of business continuity, some organizations are, I don't know the appropriate word, maybe they are afraid, they are apprehensive, there's some fear because they can have service disruption during the system placement. So especially for critical sectors such as the banking and healthcare, education and government, there's some apprehension and feet dragging when it comes to leaving the legacy system and coming to some of the old systems. That is the reason why we are where we are. People know that having a electoral commission system, having NHI system, National Health Insurance System, having all these different systems. Now you want them to move into one system. Gosh, there will be a lot of reasons and excuses why they will not move because of fear of some of these things. Yes, Kinfred. I don't know whether this is the first time I'm hearing Kinfred. I'm seeing Kinfred Akuata.
Hello, sir.
This is the first time I come to lecture.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Kinfred.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, I can hear you. Please do. Yeah, Kinfred.
Okay. So with regards to
Yeah,
I'm speaking.
Who is speaking?
It's Kinfred who is speaking now.
Okay, Kinfred. Yeah.
Something I've observed has to do with our commercial banks, Stanchart and other commercial banks. You see, one thing about Stanchart, when you go there, let's say you want to open an account or something that you have to fill a form, mostly you don't have to, give lots of information. You just have to, use your Ghana card. And compared with other commercial banks, you have to give lots of information plus your Ghana card. So I want to know, is it that Stanchart may have better interoperability with external identity systems such as the national ID database, and they might be more integrated system with the external identity system compared with other commercial banks?
Oh yes. That in essence, that is the reason. I mean, I haven't done a research on it, but that is a possible reason that they have better interoperability system than the other banks. Recently, there was an association, they were changing bank account signatories, and the requirement, I say, you've taken my my Ghana card. So what is all this? Bring this again, bring your address, give us what is it, a landmark address, so that why? All those things are on the Ghana card. Why did you take the Ghana card from me then? So yes, I agree with you. Probably Stanchart has a better interoperability system, in integration system than the other banks, and all of these are results of what do you call it, MIS integration, because you can plug into NHI and NIA, National Identification Authority system, and get all that information. Why are you asking the same person to provide the same information that is already on the Ghana card? So you are right, and I'll agree with you. I haven't done the research on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is because they have better interoperability system and better integration system with the national identification platform.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Hello,
yes.
Doc.
Yeah.
Hello,
Can
Doc.
you raise your hand so that we call you before? Yes, Inusa. Okay, Inusa, let's hear you. Jennifer, let's hear Inusa, and then we'll come back to you. Because Inusa, I've been urging to speak. Yeah, you're audible. Yes, Inusa, let's hear you.
Yes, good. So I just wanted to add up to the answer you gave to the previous question concerning the legal systems. All right, so I have an example I want to share. So this has to do with the Ghana's budget preparation process, right? So currently we have the Activate. So the Activate is a system used by the MDA. So that's the local government level, is to load the budget. Okay, so once appropriation is passed in Parliament, once budget and appropriation is passed, the budget will have to be loaded. Okay, so the MMDs use the Activate, a Microsoft system. Okay, so Activate is basically built Microsoft Access. I don't know if some of you have Microsoft Access. It's just like right. But we know, okay, we have another model that we call the Hyperion, right? So the Hyperion is what the MDs, that's the ministries, department agencies, that's also you load their budget, okay? So you realize that this government, or now the position of the government, is that they are trying to move MDA from the active to the GIFMIS. Okay, so that's Hyperion. And there is a challenge because the act has been in the system for so long, it's a legacy system. There's a whole lot of resistance. The people who are good that sort of, have to now dump the whole knowledge and go and then, learn something different and all that. So it's just an example I wanted to add to the answer that you gave to the other question, right? And it has so many implications. First, when you load the data in the activate, you have to transfer it to the GIFMIS. Because there are two different platforms, integration is a challenge. And sometimes it affects data between the figures and the numbers one after the other. It can affect the numbering, and there can be mistakes. But it's on Hyperion, Hyperical base. So with a click of a button, you can move the entire data that you've loaded concerning a particular MDA's budget. You can load it to the GIF. You understand? So that is the thing with the integration as well as the legacy systems, right? That's that.
Okay. All right. A very good example. So when you have a question, you can apply this experience to answer the question. Add a little, not a little, add academic nuances to it, and you are good to go. Very, very good. I wish you can write a paper on that. Can you write a paper? What's the name again? Inusa?
Yeah, Inusa. Yes, Inusa.
Can you write a
Yes,
paper?
so
Can you come
I
to the
cited
office? Let's
something
put
like
some
that.
paper together.
Okay, sure. I cited something like that in the assignment that you gave about the legacy system, but you can go the extensive way.
Very good. Okay, so we'll look at the assignment, and then
Okay.
at this level you should be publishing. You should be publishing means that you are going to have an academic scholarly paper that you can use. Some of you will be doing your PhD or something.
Good.
So, all right. Thank you very much, Mustafa. Your hand is still up today. Can we have Enoch? Enoch Peku, you want to say something? Then we come to Mustafa.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
So what I want to say is in relation to the response you gave to the guy who cited the stand chart example.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it has to do with for NIA, before you have access to your system, it comes at a fee. In fact, huge money you pay. Because at SNAIT, we also have access to their system. So once you are coming to register, you give us the Ghana card, we put the number, all information on you pops up. We don't have to ask you, but it's at a cost. So I'm sure some organizations that are not able to have access to the NIA data might be as a result of the cost implication.
Okay, right. But the whole ecosystem of MIS is not a given, it's not cheap. So that is why my worry has always been that why are we having different. I'm sure we even have SNIT card. Don't we have SNIT card?
Yeah, we do, but with the inception of NIA, we've been
you scrapped it.
Yes.
So now that is better, yes. That's
so
better.
We don't need to hold a SNIT card or SNIT number again. Once you have your Ghana card.
You have your Ghana card, and because when you were filling your Ghana card, you were asked to include your SNIT number. So if it's expensive, the NHIA is a government of Ghana property. Passport Office, government of Ghana property. DVLE, government of Ghana. So who are we taking the money for? Government of Ghana. So why are we doing this to ourselves? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, thank you, Mustafa. Jennifer.
So my hand is still up.
Doc.
Oh, who is that?
Okay, yes, Doc.
Okay, Jennifer.
I would like to.
Let's speak to Mustafa. Mustafa, did you say your hand is still up? So let's speak to Mustafa, then we come to you.
I just wanted to add something to what Alassane, the submission that he made, because sometimes the resistance, especially in the public sector, the resistance sometimes comes from the very people who are implementing the system or who are leading the implementation of the system. So with the example he gave, for example, with the Hyperion, for example, I'm sure he's aware, you have a very few people in the Ministry of Finance who are loading all these budgets for all the MDs for obvious purposes. And they are not willing to release, for want of a better word, the skill set or for MDAs to do it. From where I work, which I don't want to mention, it took us a very long time with a lot of complexities for us to be able to get them to offload that skill for to us to be able to do it. So sometimes resistance, I don't know whether it's because of greed or the usual Ghanaian nature, but sometimes resistance is coming from the very people who are leading these implementations, and the same with GIFMIS too. So you have a very few people in a GIFMIS secretariat who are leading these things and doing some of the things that can be done by the ministries, departments, and agencies. They are not willing to give it up. And it frustrates implementation and implementers. So that's what I wanted to add. And of course, when it comes to the fragmentation and every organization wanting to have their own system, that is also for obvious reasons, because the deployment of these systems are very expensive and they come with allegedly.
They come with allegedly 10%.
So everybody, but I think governments and political leadership would have to be very strong so that we can have a very efficient system. Otherwise, it's very frustrating for implementers. And these same people will come back and say that the MDAs are resisting. But if you are in the public sector, for example, we work with policy directives. So if there is a clear policy directive and the systems are in place, nobody can resist. You just have to comply. But they implement these systems half, and nothing is moving, and they turn around to blame the people who are supposed to do it. So this is the perspective I wanted to add from my personal experience.
You are right. You are right. I mean, we are in Ghana, so it's not like we've all experienced these things. You are very right, and I'm sure there are several studies. We go to Google Scholar right now, you see several studies on implementation difficulties in Ghana, and researchers are bound. But again, who bears the card? Yeah, Jennifer, thank you very much for that intervention. Jennifer.
Yes, Doc. Okay, I would like to speak to the NIA issue.
Okay.
With what the guy said with regards to stand chart, as Ghanaians as we are, it's okay. You go to the bank, you give the person your Ghana card. A lot of Ghanaians, the information that they provide at NIA, whenever they are registering for the Ghana card, when they get to a certain level, there are changes. You realize that it doesn't tally with whatever we have in the system. I work with a financial institution, and there are a lot of customers who come in. When we input, let's say, their Ghana card numbers, we realize that the information that comes, we will just need you to confirm, okay, is this your phone number? You realize that the person will tell you, no, that's not my phone number. Meanwhile, this same person went to NIA and provided that information or phone number for it to be used during the registration of his or her Ghana card. Residential address, that one, it happens a lot because a lot of people are renting. Today the person is staying here, tomorrow the person is staying in another place. And so if you go to a place whereby they just use the information populated by NIA on the system without confirming it for you, then you end up having a lot of different informations on their system. And as human as you are, I know that as a customer, there will be a day or a time that if you do not confirm the customer's phone number and you end up using that of the one that has been populated by NIA, the bank needs to call you or communicate something to you and does not get you. When you come around at the latter end and you realize that your things have gotten out of hand, you will end up blaming the institution that they didn't do their work well. So please, what I would say is, if you go to any financial institution and they're asking you to provide, you just provide it. Sometimes it could be for comparison of what we have on the system and then what you are giving to us. Some people bring in their Ghana cards with their names spelled wrongly on them. And they don't talk about it at the time. They didn't talk about it at the time their Ghana cards were given to them by NIA. But then they bring it to the bank and they will come and tell you, my name was spelled wrongly. So if I should accept what NIA sends to me as data, then what do you think will happen in the system? You realize that there are a lot of mistakes or a lot of information that are even not genuine about you in the system. So what I would say to it is, we should be very careful. At least when you go to a bank or anywhere and they are asking you for certain information, though you've provided your Ghana card, but please, you just provide it. You may not know what the system has given to that person or that institution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that advice. And it is true, you are right. But systems are not sacrosanct, so there's also the need to do what we call the data cleansing. I'm looking at Ghana as one entity. There should be data cleansing. Yes, you mentioned that the people are renting. He has moved from one point to the other. At the time of writing getting the Ghana card, I'll be with you, Joseph. At the time of getting the Ghana card, the person who is inputting the data may have done it wrongly. Okay, so now it has to be correct, and the issue has to be corrected. So there's a need for data cleansing, the process of detecting, correcting, removing, and updating inaccurate data. So let's do it to avoid duplication, to avoid inconsistency, to avoid irrelevant data in the database. So yeah, the bank can also flag and ask NI, and the system should be able to capture it. NI, the data you brought to us, the data we got from the person is here, it says no. And it shouldn't be human interaction. The system should confirm. The person should also be made to go to NI to do the correction, so that even if it's a bank that detected it, because it's one corporate Ghana, we should be able to correct some of these things. It's an important step in data management, data analytics, for intelligence, for research. Poor data, quality of data can lead to incorrect decisions. So you are going to have incorrect decisions made on the person. But all of us should be able to solve it. I agree that yes, let the person provide. But the person provide his correct data, data, how does that resolve the incorrect data that is in the system? So instead of having a seamless progression of using the data, the advantages of having a data-based management system such as the NIE, we are still doing parallel the word, or we are still we are doing the manual and wow, my country Ghana. Yes, Joseph, let's hear you.
Hello, Doug.
Yes, Joseph.
Okay, I just want to add something small to what Jennifer said earlier.
Okay.
Concerning the NIA registration and other stuffs.
Yes, okay.
So I was one of the registration officers, and then I became a supervising registration officer when they started the registration. I think in 2008, 2018, yeah. So what was happening was that before the implementation of the Ghana card, there was a speculation that the Ghana card will be used for general election voting. And so because of that speculations, when you are requesting data from individual or the applicants, some of them are not willing to give you the actual or the correct information that you needed for a national project. For instance, there are a lot on the form, there are a lot of questions that you request from the applicant, whereby you ask the person's hometown, the district, where the mother is coming from, where the father is coming from, district of the person, and a whole lot of questions. But because there's a speculation that the Ghana card will be used for voting, and therefore some of our politicians, I don't know, they told the general public that because the Ghana card will be used for voting, so they will use the Ghana card for voting or election manipulation. So they won't give you the actual or exact information that you need for a national agenda. That is why you access the Ghana card from NIA, and the person's data, you'll be having an inconsistency in the data, simply because the person is not willing to give you the right information that you need, because of the speculation from the politicians that the card will be used for general election, and therefore a certain group of people use it for election manipulations. So those are some of the mistakes on the Ghana card, on the database in the NIA system. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All these are important excuses. These are reasons. So what do we do? Do we need to perpetuate it? I think there's time that we should also be able to correct it, because we have to correct it. You have to correct it. If you pick a system, there's always a need. That is why there's part of it. Maintenance is also part of it. Maintenance is also part of it. And at each point that the system is being utilized, each point where there are discrepancies, the system should capture it. The system should be able to capture it. So all of us, so all the Ghanaians, the politicians, the individuals are giving wrong addresses, they are doing that, but you have taken the person by matrix. I think that this is something that will not change. After hometown, people can have different hometowns. So your father's hometown, your father's mother's hometown, your father's hometown. So some of the issues, some of the things that data that they are collecting to, you'll be asking, what is it for? Why do you want my hometown? We even ask religion and all of that. We collect a lot of information from people, and you ask, so this information you are collecting, what exactly are you looking for? Okay, you want to know the number of accounts in Accra, the number of events in here. Probably that is what we are doing. To what effect? We are dealing with the Ghanaian. That's what's important. So for me, well, maybe it's important they collect all this information, but we should also put in place measures that can help us to clean the data. Because if we have a data to supposedly give us a seamless data management, and we still would have to depend on manual. Somebody has posted something on our chat box that you go to the bank says, draw, can you say, a monument or what, something in your area that can draw a what? Adnan, what are we supposed to draw?
Yes, draw the nearest landmark in your area.
Can you imagine? Sometimes I be asking you to draw the road, So yes, Jennifer, it's difficult, but this is why we are studying this. When we have opportunity, we should be able to do something better than we are experiencing now. Yes, Jennifer.
Yes, Doc. This drawing of a landmark or direction, I think it's all about you giving the directions to your residents.
So because how many people are architects, or how many people can draw?
That's a Ghana. Doc, it's not about you drawing. You just, do something. Let's say if I am staying at Market Circle. Okay, Market Circle is a big place. What is the nearest landmark that will help you?
So I should visit me. So I should draw it.
Jennifer, I have to disagree with you on this one. Government of
please,
Ghana
hold
spends
on.
millions
We normally use you let me end. We normally use this
in designing the
GPS system.
Let her make a point, please. Then after that, you can come in and debunk it. Yeah, Jennifer, let's hear. Don't mind him, sir.
When someone comes in, we normally ask of your GPS system address, because when you are doing the NIA, that is what is taken into consideration. Now, this GPS system does not even give accurate results sometimes. I've been using it. I'm in Takrady. There were situations whereby customers in Anaje, there is an area in Takrady called Anaje. We took their GPS address. Now, when we went onto the system, we did the input, and the location that came was Shama Junction. So yes, if I should take a photo from all the details or the information that has been provided to me by this GPS system, and there is an issue, it means I'll have to follow up by coming to Shama Junction to look for you. Meanwhile, you told me you are staying in Anaji. So the problem is some of our systems have give informations that are not accurate. That is why I said that, like NIA, someone comes in, we realize that there is this phone number. Even Ghana Pay registration, we meet customers, we take their Ghana card number, informations that populate, we realize that their phone numbers that populate on the system is not theirs. It's a different phone number. So we have to ask the person to confirm his or her phone number before we end the thing. Because you are going to get an OTP, and then we realize that the OTP is not coming. We go back and check the phone number. It's not yours. Meanwhile, the system provided it for us. So what I would say is, if we should solely depend, though we've provided these informations to these systems, these institutions, but if we want to solely depend on it, then we will have inconsistencies. I've been in a situation whereby I've met people at the passport office. They went to NIA, the information they provided there was different from what the passport office people were saying. And so they had to send them back to go and renew or redo whatever they did, information they provided for the making of their birth certificate before they come back and redo it. So what I would say is we shouldn't solely depend on these systems. There are failures, a lot of failures in the system, a lot of inconsistencies. So we should be very careful. You provide it. It won't do you anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jennifer. Yes, yes.
Okay, let me just be final and then. So the reason why they ask a lot of questions on the form, that maybe sometimes maybe your hometown, where you live, your district, and that, let me just clarify on that one. You see, the whole brain behind the Ghana card is if they wanted to lecture you, or if you had the opportunity to be lectured, you really appreciate it. But as I said, our attitude and some of the politicians, I don't know what is wrong with them. You see, the reason why I ask you a lot of questions. So, for instance, at the time I'm applying or I'm registered for the Ghana card, maybe I live at La Paz. You understand? And then, so let's say I have my location as La Paz on the Ghana card on the database. Then I went and took a loan from any bank of microfinance or something. Then, after taking the loan, I moved from La Paz to another region or another jurisdiction. If they have microfinance are looking for me or tracing me, they cannot find me because I'm no more at La Paz. So the system is designed that if I'm living at La Paz and I move for one or two reasons, I move from La Paz and I go and settle at Kufuridia or something, I should be able to update my information on the database. You understand? If I change my telephone number, I should be able to go to the system or the database to update it. So anything you change on the system or on your database, you have to update it. But as to how the institution as NIA will provide that enabling environment for individual to be able to access it and update it individually, that's another challenge. And it all depends on our attitude and our politicians, the information that they give out to the public. Some of them, they don't understand the Ghana card itself. So if the person doesn't understand the Ghana card, how can the person move from here and then say, I'm going to update my data? The person doesn't understand the system. So it becomes a challenge. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. These are all practical challenges that we are facing. These are all practical challenges that we have. What are the solutions? So you can have a question now to ask you to discuss the challenges and profess solutions to it. Yes, you are right. A lot of the information that has been given is not right. So if it is not right, it means that the data should be sacrosanct. The data should be there must be data integrity.
Data integrity means that the data must be the same, no matter which system you are using. The data must be the same. So if the data is not the same, it means that the collection of the data has a problem. If the collection of the problem has a problem, what is the solution? Okay, so that is why we are studying management information system. Because then, before you even develop a management information system, people must be educated. We've mentioned that several times. Those who are going to use it, yes. Hello?
Yes, so with regards to my disagreement with Jennifer's position, I want us to make progress. I will not comment on that. But with regards to the solution, I am of the opinion that, you see, the Ghana Car project is a PPP arrangement, right? It's a public-private partnership arrangement. And Ghana Car, that's handled by Margins Group. So Margins Group will run Ghana Card project for 15 years, and then they will hand it over. Okay, it's when you look at the model, it is build, operate, build, own it, and transfer. They will build it. They built the system. They will operate it for some time, and they will transfer to the government of. My recommendation would be that once the expiration period comes, government of Ghana should cushion the cost, okay, so that you have a single point of data in terms of every other government organization can tap in information from. Right now, it's costly because Ghana Card, the project has to run and they have to pay, there's so much cost with regards to the compute, that's the cloud storage, the servers, all those things that you can talk about. So my recommendation would be when the 15 years time reach, government of Ghana should take over. Every year we can make budgetary allocations to it, so that, because right now when you look at the structure of NIA, it's now in the Ministry of Interior, because it's classified as a security, is seen as a security system now, because when you look at first where it was an independent institution, but now it has even been put under Ministry of Interior, forms part of our security architecture. So it's a very important project which I think after 15 years, government of Ghana should take over. I mean, of per agreement, we will take over. But when we do, every year we should make allocations to it, so that we can now make open for government institutions to be onboarded and to be taking data from that. And we can make regular updates with regards to, people moving around, changing their names and all these things. To be able to come into office, provide me notification, and then update their information, maybe at even no cost. You understand? So I think that's my recommendation.
Okay, thank you for the recommendation. The initial challenge is from Jennifer's point of view and from what we have seen is data entry errors, incorrect spelling of names, wrong date of birth, inaccurate biometric capture, address system, phone number system. Yes, these are critical issues. But from MIS point of view, we say before you do that, before you deploy, do education, training, run training, so that people are aware what they should do. Now, you have challenges, it will come. No matter what you do, it will come. So the solution is that you should put in place measures that will help reduce some of these challenges that we are talking about. So there must be backup system, there must be the duplication and deduplication of records, okay, during registration. Any inconsistent data records and all of that should be taken care of. All right, so there must be the system must have the corrective measures. Like I said, now your suggestions are good, but anybody else that is using the system and somebody has come to you, the system should be able to correct it. Okay, go back to NIA and get it correct, or fill the form and get NIA to do the correction for you. If the person does not have any ulterior motive of why he's not giving, but we are looking at it as an institution, as an organization, as a public sector organization, and how do we implement these things to be able to avoid or reduce some of the issue that that has been made. So there's limited public awareness. Some citizens may not understand the registration process. And if look at the country that politics has really permeated every aspect of our life. We listen to political and religious leaders that we want to listen to the technocrats. So the technocrats have really chickened out. How many lecturers, how many, what do you call it, how many technologies do you hear on radio and TV discussing the issues? The person may come in with political lens, you see. So yes, some citizens may not understand the registration processes or the importance of even the Ghana card. So there's a need to have public awareness, just like we would do if we are building. When you were building, did you collect data? Did you talk to people? What did you do? When it's election time, don't you go around and talk to people? Don't we use TV and radio to discuss this? We didn't do that. So now challenges have come. Our role as university learning is to look at some of these challenges that will come and what are the possible solutions that will come. So using local languages and community outreach programs, having technical skill gap. Some staff may also lack the adequacy of IT management skills. So there's a need to provide, there's the need for continuous technical challenges. We've used the NHI for how many years now? How many years have we used the NHI? Have there been any deliberate attempt to, for research, what the banks have identified, what the schools have identified, what these have identified, what challenges have come, and then now come out to say that, okay, after using this for 5 years, for 6 years, for 7 years, these are some of the challenges we are doing, and these are the solutions we are preferring. This is what the correction will be done. All right? Then we are managing the system well. But if we give ourselves in the air, we throw our hands in the air and say that there are challenges, so provide it. We'll provide it. But then we've paid so much to the system. We pay so much to use the system. We'll provide it. But the advantages that should have been gotten out of using an NHIA system or a management information system such as the NHIA will not be achieved. And we'll go round and come. It will not surprise me. After 10 years, people will say we have to now install a new system. Meanwhile, when it rains, our gutters are choked. So the money is going somewhere. Resource allocation is going somewhere. So as academics, let's identify the problem and let's profess solutions as to how to do it using the template, using the structure. Because for us, we think that if we're going to use the structure, then we should be able to do it in such a way that there was something we just discussed. What is it? Yes, we said Lewin's change management model. So there are other models. So freezing, preparing employees, and here everybody else preparing for change to create awareness. That's what the model is saying. Before we introduce the system, we need to let people be aware of what is going to happen. We need to introduce the new system. We need to discuss the processes, discuss the behaviors, the likely challenges that may come. And even after the likely challenges, when the system is installed, we need to now look at refreezing, stabilizing and institutionalizing the new system. All these will come into play. So we are going to use this to ensure that the data that we have collected are really helping us to achieve it. That's the essence of our discussion. We are academics. We are not politicians. Neither are we business people. We are academics. And we are sitting somewhere and putting a lens into it, using what other people have done. Well, we are not the first people who have used this. There are several across the world that are using this, and they don't have that challenge. Lithuania, I hope that's the correct pronunciation. Lithuania, they are also use this, and they are doing marvelous, really well. So we can copy, we can mimic, we can study their system and see what corrections can be made in order to address the challenges that we are having. People may have ulterior motive. The system is there to be able to stop people from doing all of this. You can even look, yes, you have identified. He gave a location address that is different from this. We flag it. To flag it all, so that the person will be called to come and do your correction. Give us this, so that we clean the system, so that the next 10 years we'll have a system that is very good. But I agree with you. But I am speaking from academic perspective. I hope that's clear. Hopefully that's clear. Are we here?
Yes, Doc. We are here.
Yes, Doc.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I think we should be wrapping up now. Okay, we've looked at some of the challenges, data integration, pattern, point-to-point, how to spoke to publish, subscribe, and all that. Legacy systems now becoming more complicated and costly, and that is a challenge in the implementation of MIS. Security control, I talked about the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, availability as a foundation for the security of information system. And there must be role-based access control as well, where users will receive permission on the job role, on their individuality, and encryption as well. And so encryption is storing data in such a way that whether it is in transit or it is at rest, it is required to have a particular encryption. So audit logs and data access modification. So there must be modification, must be logged, must be flagged for accountability sake. But if there's an issue that happens at the point of using the Ghana card and we don't do anything, yes, you might have corrected, because your interest as a bank is to get your customer, to get the real data of the customer, so that tomorrow if something is happening, you can access, you can have it. So we should be able to now flag that issue to NIA for them to do the correction. Then we clean the system. Least privilege principles, where people can only access the data that they need for their function. There's a limit to having the breach. So we have gone through a lot as a nation, but MIS is not looking at just what is in the nation. We are looking at across the world. After that, we need to evaluate. So we need evaluation and post-implementation review. So if we were evaluating the system, and the evaluating of the system includes all of us who are using the system, the banks, the schools, anybody at all that is using the system, there must be a form, there must be a way to help collect data and experiences to evaluate. And then we have to do post-implementation review. So what are the post-implementation reviews that have been made? Okay, people are not doing it. Human beings will find the least resistance to do. They are always taking advantage. So we have to do post-implementation review. The system success must be measured against the predefined KPI, the key performance indicators, not just how it is working or how it works. When we were doing the NHIE, what was our focus? What was our performance indicator? What was our objective? Now we have implemented it. Has it really has it aligned with the objective of the company? If it hasn't been aligned, what can we do? So there are also Deloitte's and McLean's AIS success model that help evaluate system quality, information quality, and the net benefit that the system is having. So we as educators are looking at it from that angle, not holding a political lens. Yes, Mustafa.
Yeah, sir. I think you said something about before the system is set up. How did we come by the objectives and all that?
Yeah.
And I think that may also be part of our problem. Maybe we are not doing that detailed, as a country, we are not doing that detailed work at that stage. So the system starts before a lot of things come up. So I just wanted to chip that in.
Yeah, that is true. That is true, because we move with political expediency first before we do it. So yeah, that may be it. That we didn't do enough. I've been here for a while, so we were all following up what is going on. And then you sit back and say, but the process to implement look, this thing started in 2010 or thereabout. I think it started in Professor Mills's time or something. Is it Professor Mills? It started or President Kufuor time, we couldn't get it done. Professor Mills came, we couldn't get it done. First Mahama came, couldn't get it done. So it's been back and forth, and we start all over again, then we pick it up, we leave it, we come and pick it up. So by the time we come, the data or the research that informed the decision crowd would have been lost. And somebody has lost election. So when he's going, he takes everything out of, so there are several issues that is coming up. But as academics, as researchers, we're looking at what works, what should work, what should we do. So Deloitte and McLean has IS success models that evaluate system quality. So the system that we have, let's have it, let's evaluate it. Let's see the system quality of it. Information that is being given, let's evaluate it. Let's look at the quality of the information. Already we have told you what data should be. Data must have integrity. So the data on me must have integrity. If the data doesn't have integrity, what should we do? We don't throw our hands in the air. Otherwise, we'll be using a system. So there must be post-implementation review, the PIR, which is structured for assessment. And we are looking at within 3 to 6 months. When we go live, have we been able to do that? We have to capture lessons that have been learned and document them for institutional knowledge. Without it, we will lose it. We have spent so much. There's also the need for continuous improvement. Yes, NHI is not working well. Those who are using the system, the banks, the insurance companies, the this, the that, have challenges. So if they have challenges, there's the need to get the people to improve on the system. And if it is not done, then there's the user feedback. The user feedback. It must drive iterative enhancement. Iterative enhancement requires that it is back and forth. We keep doing it until we perfect it. And we can never perfect it. So we keep doing it. We keep doing it. But for all these years, I haven't heard, maybe you have heard, I haven't heard that NHI is doing a review. He's doing evaluation. He's doing evaluation of the system. He's doing correcting of the system. Those who have experiences, the banks and those who are using it, they should bring a data to come and show us, and then we correct it, right? So let's do that and get things done well. So we have a database that will collect related data, store them electronically so that we can even be able to access it easily, be able to retrieve it, and be able to manage it. So we are not saying there are no problems. There will be problems. But if the problems are there in the database, what type of database are we using? Relational database, distributed database, cloud database, data warehousing, all these things must be clearly defined as a nation. Because there are common databases that can be used. MySQL, Microsoft SQL, Oracle SQL, Postgre, NoSQL, all of these are important for us to do. In Ghana, we have Electoral Commission having a database. We have Ghana Revenue Authority having a database, Ministry of Health, universities having their own databases, voter registration, taxpayers, patient information system, student information system. There are several databases that is being used, but the quality of the data, the integrity of the data is what is making it whether we are able to rely on that data, the database or the system that has been developed. So data quality, the accuracy, the completeness, reliability, and consistency of the data of each individual. We are only 40 million here. Yeah, if you compare ourselves to China, over 1 billion, right? We are only 40 million. So these are things. If the data is not accurate, then we need to correct it. We need to correct it. The system was built by human beings. So we need to go back into the system and correct it. So accuracy important, data correctly represent the reality. If the person lives in Ahuju and say he lives in Akwetia, the system should be able to capture it. It must be complete. There should be no missing record or spelling mistakes and all of that. And consistency, the data must be uniform across every system. And then the timeliness, up-to-date information, and then validity, confirm the rules and standards that are required to do the validity. So data integrity, ensuring that the data remains accurate and consistent during the storage, during the transfer, and during the processing. There are threats to it because there are human errors. The person who is holding the data itself can create. So human error. There are cybersecurity attacks on the data. So if somebody is able to get into the database of any NIA and changes the dynamics or changes the data of people, the person now comes to the bank and he says that this is where I live, but the data says that it is not where you live. So you see, somebody else may have been the one that has created the discrepancies. So there are also system failure. The system itself can fail. There are duplicated errors where the person's data is stored severally in the system. All right, and there can also be unauthorized modification. Somebody else, not the person, somebody else who has access to the information is the one that is doing the modification. Like the fear of using NHIA card as a voting system for the voting system. So we need to have measures that can ensure data integrity. So how do we ensure data integrity? How do we ensure that the data that is given in any, and let's not pick only on any NIA because it's not just the others has also been done. So this is a general measures, access control. It's not everybody that must have. Data validation. Do we do data validation? Are there regular backups? Is there encryption? Is there an audit trail? All these must be done to support the decision making of our MIs. Well, our time is almost up, right? Any question? I'm sure the rest of them we can read and get it. But what we need has been taken care of. I wanted to talk about emerging technologies. A lot of issues are coming up with information management information system. So now we're looking at big data. Governments are now analyzing a massive amount of data for policy planning and all that. Artificial intelligence is also here. So AI is supporting predictive analytics and automation, cloud computing, enabling scalability of government information systems. Now we don't really need servers because we can all go to the cloud. And then there are open initiatives where government will publish data set for transparency and innovation. So it's important that we keep all these things up, cybersecurity issues, data privacy issues, so that we can increasingly emphasize on protecting the citizens' data. And last, I think about a month ago or something, the president refused to a request by the US government that they want to come and help us to do this, that, and that they need the health records of citizens. And the president, Mahama, said, no way, take it, because whatever we give out, we are going to lose more. Whatever they bring it to us, it's just the tip of the iceberg. The gain they get from us, and we are here. So that was a very, very, very strategic strike for me, where the president refused to surrender our data to them. They will go and then come up and even develop supposedly cure for diseases and bring it to us, and we consume them. So in conclusion, we have realized that the effective implementation of MIS requires proper planning, requires stakeholder involvement. And if you are looking at NHI, citizens are stakeholders, key stakeholders. We need training, we need continuous system evaluation. Let us have the system to be evaluated. Let's look at the challenges that have come, the drawbacks that are there, and develop systems that can address the essential to ensure that the data that is in the system is accurate, they can be accessible, they can inform organizational decision making, and security is assured. Because many organizations are facing challenges, resistant to change challenges, poor data quality, like we are talking about, cybersecurity risk. These are real implementation costs during the MIS deployment. So to be successful, MIS and data management implementation must help improve operational efficiency, ensure service delivery, transparency, and overall performance of the organization. So this brings us to the end of our lecture today. It's been very, very, very heated and very, very controversial, a lot of issues, and I've enjoyed it. I enjoy your class. You make it a bit lively. I enjoy the debate that goes on. Yes. Okay. Any question? Any question?
Hello,
We
sir.
are only 23 of us are here. Yes, Isaac.
Yes. I just wanted to chip in something a little. You know, this issue with NIE and issue with mistake on the Ghana card and all that. You know, oftentimes when we go to the banking or when we go to the banks and there's an error or there's an issue with either the date of birth or names or anything, the bank is not interested in your error. So the bank will not advise you that maybe go back to NIA and correct it. The bank is interested in doing whatever they have to do to secure themselves in the event that they have to call on you or something to get you in the future. So they are not interested in whatever error is on the Ghana card. But theirs is they want to solve. So if it's an account opening, they want to solve the issue of opening that account and make sure that they don't, repeat any error in their system. So that's just what I wanted to chip in.
You are right, Isaac. You are right, and I agree with you. My point is that if they don't help sanitize the system, then the use of that Ghana card at the banks would be ineffective because things that have been made to avoid manual interventions. We have set up a system to help avoid manual interventions and paper-based things. That's the essence of it. So if you are a user of the system, the banks are users of the system, they must also be interested in sanitizing the system. But if you are not interested in sanitizing, you are interested in only your work, okay, so then we are resorting to the manual. What is the need for the NIA then? Because let's help the system, let's sanitize the system. But it's also incumbent on NIE to now come post-implementation evaluation of the system so that all these things can be. We need to address the inefficiency that come around in the system. So you are right, but this is taking it from the individual bank's perspective. We will not help improve the system because while systems are made, the next point is to ensure that the system is improved, whether we have been able to meet the objective of for setting up the system. So I agree. Mustafa.
Yeah, sir, I have a question about our GPS system.
Yes.
Is it because if for example I type my location or into Google Maps, for example, it should and send it to somebody, it will lead the person to where from where I send the location. But it looks like our GPS system doesn't do that. So what is the challenge with our GPS system? Is it that it's not a real-time system, or what's the which makes it so inefficient?
Oh well, I don't know how to answer this question. Yes,
I want to add something.
Yes, Adi, before we talk about before we answer Inuse's Mustafa's asked question, are you going to answer the Mustafa's question for me?
Yeah.
Okay, do that because I really don't know how to go about answering it. So help me.
Yeah, I've been using the Ghana Post GPS address, but it's working. If you send, I think it's plugged into Google's API, Google Maps API.
Yeah, API,
so, yes.
API, yeah.
Yeah, so if you, it really works.
Okay, so this is hard to what we just said concerning Mustafa's question. So the GPS, the application was designed using Maps API, okay? So the location and all those things that you see on the GPS is from Google, just like Uber and Bolt. All of them, they also use API from Google Maps, right? That is how come when you see locations listed on Google Maps, you search on Uber or Bolt. But sometimes when you search Bolt to see, because Yango, they don't rely on Google Maps for their map services. Do you understand the point? So what I'm saying is that for GPS, for you to get inaccurate location, it means that the problem is from the listing. Experience listing businesses on Google Maps, you realize that after you have listed the business, you have to choose the location. That's the coordinates, the longitude and latitude, whatever. So you have to really zoom in to pinpoint exactly where you think the business location is. And oftentimes businesses make this mistake. Sometimes they don't zoom in, and even the Uber drivers, sometimes they don't even zoom into your location to see exactly where you are. They will just come to the nearest location thinking that they have reached. But in fact, they didn't zoom in to actually come closer to where exactly the dot is. Do you get the point? So if you are listing your house on the GPS application and you don't really zoom in to pick the exact location, that is the longitude, latitude on the map, you end up picking the location that is far away from your house. So if somebody else used the address that's been generated based on what you chose, it will direct them to that location. You understand the point that I'm making? And it's the same thing with Google Maps. If you list your business on Google Map and you don't choose the right coordinate, you end up, leading your customers or other people away from your environment. Do you get it? So it has nothing to do with that platform. It is the listing. Okay. And you know that with the GPS system, when it was designed, a lot of people, individuals, some of them took it as a business opportunity to be going around house by houses, to be listing people's houses for them. And individually, if you are technical enough, you can also do these things. But I always have problem with how government run its program, because oftentimes, just like we complain about games, when the systems are designed, you will hardly find demos, even online. You will hardly even find manuals online. It's like some set of people are gatekeeping the knowledge. But every system, when it's designed, there has to be a manual, there has to be a demo, so that individuals like who want to list their houses, they can watch these videos, properly list their houses accurately. They don't do that. So everybody wake up, they just list it anyhow. And then at the end of the day, it creates problems, because GPS, the project did not really employ like so many people to be going around everybody's houses to be listing their houses for them. You have point. So these are some of the issues that has to do with the question you asked from my point of view. So that's that.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes,
Hello.
Eric. Yes, Eric.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, Eric, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah,
I just wanted to add a little to what my brother said in answering Mustafa. I think Mustafa, what I want to say is that you see, the GPS is a satellite-based address. So when you are picking your address, you watch out for the signal strength. You see, so if you don't get the signal strength very, very clearly, some of them will be giving you distances, maybe to accuracy up to 5 meters, 1 meter. Watch that one. If the error margin in terms of the signal strength is very high, then it will push you to a very different location. So it should be as close as possible. Maybe 1 meter accuracy or something before you can get to be exact. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Charles. Your hand is up. You want to say something?
Yeah, yes, Doc. Still related to the GPS issue. When I agreed with my brother when he said that it is more about a listing issue, that the listing might have gone wrong, but that was on the minor level. For instance, I think most of the problems with the misplaced GPS address is about the coding. Most of the codes I've tried several times. You enter the code GA, the hyphen, the numbers followed. And then this address takes you somewhere to Los Angeles. You zoom in and they are giving you that this particular place in America is having GA hyphen, the same number in the system. So even though most at times the signal is weak, when you are ordering or when you are using the GPS address, you realize that it's giving you a parameter that you are within this enclosure about 3 meters away, about 15 meters away. But then I think one of the major problems is about the coding. I think the codings that they use for some of the places did not correlate with our system. Or should I say that because our network system is lesser compared to the other one that is having that is outside there. So when you key in this particular address, it looks for the highest priority network which is outside our jurisdiction. So most of the times it didn't function well, not because not because of anything, but because of the listing and the coding. So mostly they need to rework on some of these codings.
Okay, thank you very much. That's interesting.
Okay. Bottom line is that the system must be looked at again so that we can find solution to the challenges. We must be able to evaluate the system and prefer solutions. As much as possible, we are doing automation. We want to remove the presence of the individual, the human being, from the whole scenario. So where the individual has a problem, then we are here to solve. So let's identify the problem and see what solutions we can do to ameliorate the challenges that the new system has come about. But for us, we have the template to use, and that is what our interest is. Okay, any more? Any more additions, subtractions? Okay, our time is more than 10 minutes past. I have other engagement as well. So in the absence of any further discussion, contributions, or questions, can somebody move for the closure of the class? Xavier, you didn't say anything the whole 4 hours. Xavier.
Sir, I'm here.
How can you come to my class without speaking? Xavier, how can you come to my class? You stay in the class for 4 hours and don't say a word.
Sir, in fact, my network was not all that good, so it was on and off like that.
Yesterday, the last week we met the same thing. Anyway, do you have a question?
No, sir, I'm fine with it.
Okay, all right. So in the absence of any further questions, discussions, contributions, can you move for the closure of the class, Xavier?
Okay, Xavier Tekete move for the closure of the class. If there is no further discussion.
All right, thank you very much. Can you recommend somebody to second your motion?
Inusa. Hello, Inusa.
Inusa has made a lot of contribution today. You still want to pick him up? Okay, Inusa, let's hear. You want to second the motion for the closure of the class? Or you still want us to make more discussion? Is Inusa here? Is Inusa here? I think Inusa has left. Can we have somebody to second the motion for the closure of the class?
All right. So I, Matthew, to see second the motion to move in the class at exactly 6:13 p.m. without further additions or subtractions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, and see you next week. Okay, I think there's a group the group assignment. We didn't talk about the assignment. I'm sure you have submitted your assignment. Classwork, please remind me so that I give you the group assignment that will also be submitted on the last day, the one that we are meeting physically. All right.
Sure.
All right. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Stay blessed. Bye for now.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Hello, class.
Hello, Joseph.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, but I want a little suggestion. If concerning the informatics for economics, if some of our colleagues who understand the whole process, you can just, those of us that we are having a time, you can create a Zoom or any platform so that you take us through. It's just a suggestion.
So that's a very laudable one. I believe we have to be able to come together and then see how we address that. Basically, I think it's about the data mounting. If you see how Sir actually words his codes according to how he has stored the things on his system, and mostly that's what we are given to do. So I think it's a bit about we being able to edit that, and a few of us have been able to work our way around it. So we should be able to come together and then see how we get others along, because it actually drags the whole class behind. And so, yeah, it wouldn't be so good if we are all not on the same page.
No, this course is almost like the applied econometrics. If you feel it will be very difficult for you. I think we will get it once and for all, and that's all we go.
It's unfortunate. I think Inusa is off the line, but we should put it in a group. We should discuss it in a group and let's select a favorable date so we see how to go about it. Basically, particularly about mounting the data and then getting every information run, and then aside that, I think we'll be good to go.